You're listening to CFRN, a community of believers who trade for a living. To learn more about who we are, what we do, and how we do it, call toll-free 1-866-928-3310, and we'll send you out a no-obligation information kit absolutely free. 866-928-3310. The CFRN Emini Futures Cast is now on Stitcher. Listen to us on your iPhone, Android phones, BlackBerry, and WebOS phones. Stitcher is smart radio for your phone. Find it in your app store or at Stitcher.com. Stitcher Smart Radio, the smarter way to listen to radio.
Are you ready, Steve? Andy? Yeah! Bert? Well, all right, fellas. Let's go!
You're listening to CFRN, the Christian Financial Radio Network.
Today's broadcast is brought to you by Audible. Get a free audiobook download at www.audibletrial.com/CFRN. Over 85,000 titles. Choose from mystery, romance, religion, science, technology, business, New York Times bestsellers, even children's books. You name it, Audible has it. With 85,000 titles to choose from, you're sure to find the perfect audiobook for yourself or to give as a gift, and it's absolutely free. Just point your browser to audibletrial.com/CFRN. That's audibletrial.com/CFRN. And become a part of the audiobook revolution by downloading your free audiobook today. audibletrial.com/CFRN.
Hey, trader, want to get rich quick? Well, good luck with that. If, on the other hand, you actually want to learn how to trade, the place to be is www.cfrn.net. Tune in Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. Eastern for our daily devotional, and then spend the next 3 hours learning how it's done from professional traders who actually trade for a living. That's www.cfrn.net. Every trading day from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern. CFRN, a community of believers who trade for a living.
Good afternoon, traders, and welcome back to the CFRN Emini Futures Cast. This is the daily broadcast of Indeterminate Length, where we discuss all things Emini, along with some really big ideas on the finer points of trading gold, bonds, crude, sugar, the euro, and even T-bills. Joining us today from our studios in Boston, Mr. Michael Borth. From our trading desk in Chicago, Mr. Burton Schlichter. Now, to get things started, let's go to our host and founder in Studio A, overlooking South Mountain, America's largest city park. Here's Dwayne.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome back. Today is Friday, 26th day of October, 2018. So glad you could join us today on this fine Friday. Fall is in the air, even in Phoenix, Arizona. True story. Well, if you're returning, welcome back. If you're here for the first time, a special welcome to you. Heads up, we will not do a 6-hour show today. That's off the table. But we did one yesterday. Is that right? Let's see. Yeah. I'll take my shoes off. How about 7.5 hours? That's a lot of radio. All right. Where do we start? What a historic week this has been on so many levels. Best week of the year in the live training room, I believe. But you didn't hear that from me. Michael will sound that alarm when he comes in. You don't want to steal somebody's thunder. Jiminy. The L2, incredible week. Logic 247, where opportunity finds you. Just a great week. all around, it's been good. I hope it's been good for you. I hope it's been good for you. And if you're not a trader, if you're an investor and you're concerned about the sell-off and what's to come, relax. If you have a very narrow window that you're working with, then certainly you should be talking with your financial professional, whoever that might be, you know, to get guidance and direction for what you should do for your own specific situation. If you have, you know, 3 years plus, not that I think it's going to take 3 years to bounce back, I'm just saying, you know, with a 3 to 5 year window, you and more, you have absolutely nothing to be concerned about, because the market will come back. It's designed that way. We went over that all yesterday. The indices, the S&P, the Dow, the Russell, the NASDAQ, they're all best of breed. The weak are kicked to the curb, and the strong and rising are brought in. That's why, since the markets began, there have been sell-offs and crashes and all these other sky is falling scenarios, but in actuality, all they are healthy pullbacks in a healthy market. That's how markets work. A leg and a retracement and a leg and a retracement and a leg and a retracement until you can't put in a higher high. And so you take a little rest, pull back, get a running start, go at it again. Sometimes retracements become reversals. Doesn't mean we're going to zero. It just means we're going to pull back to a deeper area, perhaps a fib number. That covers a lot of ground. The 38, the 50 to the 62. If you throw in the 24 and the other one, you got it all covered. Question is, of course, will it hold? Wait and see. That's the simplest takeaway I can offer today, is when your mind goes, I wonder if, wait and see. Well, yeah, but then I'll miss it. No, you won't. You don't have to. But there's a tipping point. There's a point of confirmation. There's a point where you, in your best work, determine this is my trade setup, and we trade with the trend in whatever time frame we happen to be observing using our indicator set. Our indicator set works on all futures markets. It works on any market, any auction style market where you have buyers on the bid, sellers on the offer, and price channeling back and forth. What it does, it's very simple. It's not complicated. It's not fancy. You don't need some kind of degree to use our indicator set. It goes in and finds, it doesn't matter what market or what time frame. I'll show you some examples a little later. No matter what time frame, no matter what market, you apply the indicators, they're going to go in and they're going to find the underlying trend for that market in that time frame. And then they're going to display it in a color-coded manner that makes it unmistakable for you, the trader. And so then you're able to trade with the wind at your back. Trading into a headwind is worse than a bicycle ride into the wind. You're just pedaling and pedaling and pedaling, and an hour later you're down about 12 feet. So we don't swim upstream. The beautiful thing about futures, if the markets are falling, we're sensitive to people who have long-term investors with long positions. But when the markets are falling, the opportunity's there. Often you will find that you earn faster in a down market than you do in an up market once gravity kicks in. Because remember, from prices to rise, for this to happen right here, what you're seeing on my screen right now, all right? By the way, if you can't see my chart, go to our homepage at CFRN.net. On the right-hand side of the page, click the big microphone, follow the instructions. 30 seconds, you'll be registered through the end of the month. Okay? One-click access. Also, youtube.com/CFRN/live. youtube.com/CFRN/live. bookmark that page. You'll always have one-click access. Okay? Alrighty. As I was saying, in order for this to happen, requires financial commitment. People got to step up to the plate. People, institutions, computers. Right? We hear all the computer trading going on. Some say it accounts for 70% of volume and transactions in the New York Stock Exchange. Because of the micro trades that computer, when they're pinging each other for a tick back and forth, that creates an awful lot of transactions. And volume too. Because a one-tick move on 10,000 contracts, well, I mean, you can do the math. That's not what we attempt to do, and that's not, I mean, we do believe that the way to solve the market equation is more contracts, not more points. If I can do the same job with 2 points as I can do with 20 points, how do I not avail myself to that opportunity? Person, lots of times I hear, well, you know, my goal, I'm going to make 20 points a day on the S&P. Some days it doesn't give 20 points. Okay, then I'll take 10. Well, there have been days too where it doesn't offer 10. From the high of the day to the low of the day and back the other way. But I don't know, since I moved from equities to futures in 2005, I don't know that I've ever seen a day. I'm quite certain I haven't. And this includes quasi-market days, when the markets, when only futures are open, stocks are closed, and futures are open until noon Eastern. There's a couple points in there. And with a couple points, you can earn whatever sum of money you want to earn. You can lose whatever, I don't like that term, lose. You can have, you have to position yourself so that you are minimizing the risk while taking advantage of the upside or downside potential that is in front of you at the moment. Now, it doesn't, regardless of what the guys said on the TV or on the radio, whatever's in front of you, what's on that screen, that's what matters. That's your opportunity to create wealth. Now, if you go about it willy-nilly, then that's why you see the disclaimer all the time, everywhere you go, on every financial site, trading is risky. You can lose all of your money and then some. It's true. It is, and you can. In fact, since I have it handy, years ago, Futures Magazine reported an article that I'm sure at the time they didn't think it would be the most quoted statement they ever published, but they published that 9 out of 10 traders, would-be traders, those who would like to trade for a living, trade professionally, whatever the case might be, 9 out of 10 fail. Now that's a staggering statistic. Take anything bad in the whole world, you know, from car accidents to whatever, and 90% of anything it's overwhelming. It's an epidemic. I'm out of words to describe it, but there's a cure for the common failure, because everyone fails for the same reason. No teacher. No teacher. 9 out of 10 fail because they don't have a teacher. If you have a teacher, you have a shot at becoming the 1 out of 10. So that's where we fit into the equation. And I'd like to take this occasion to once again welcome you to the show. We're going to cut over to Michael here in just a moment, get a recap of everything that happened in the live training room. Then we're going to grind through the Concierge Trade Alerts. We're not going to grind, it's going to be a nice journey. Concierge Trade Alerts. Take a look at some of the L2 alerts that we've had over the week. The markets have been extraordinarily kind, and we are forever grateful. And for those of you that have been along for the ride, that bell's for you. Let's take a look at the numbers around the world. I'm going to hold back on a little bit of news because I don't know if Michael has an appointment or not, and so I want to give him an opportunity to come in and do the recap. And let's just see. Now, these are cash markets, not futures. We'll talk all about the futures here in just a moment. Cash markets around the world. Currently, here in the U.S., the Dow down 233 points. NQ down 121 points. S&P 500 down 35, and the Russell 2000 down 20. To put that in perspective, the Dow's down 1%, NASDAQ a little over 1.5%, S&P 500 1.25%, down 1.25%, and the Russell 2000 also down 1.25%. In the commodity basket, crude oil is up 13 cents, trading 67.46 last. Gold is up $8.80. Go gold. In the Asian markets, at the close, the Nikkei down 84 points, Shanghai down 5, and the Hang Seng down 276 points. That's a small number relative to the Hang Seng. Yes, it's a little over 1%. But possibly the Hang Seng is finding its footing. In European markets at the close, FTSE down 64, DAX down 106, the CAC down 65. That's 1% lost on both the FTSE and the DAX, and 1.25% lost on the CAC. So there you have it, the numbers from around the world. It is a big red Radio Friday. It really is. Now, staging this rally here, lowest weekly trading zone. If you've been around any length of time, it's not a thing, but it's a thing. Price should close today at or above 26.82, because that's the lowest weekly trading zone. And so it's not a specific trade to from the opening of the week to the highest zone or the lowest zone. That's not a trade. It's just think of a football game. You're sitting up in the stands, you're looking down on the gridiron, right? To your left, you've got the end zone, and right in front of you is the 50-yard line. And to the right of you is the other end zone. And that's the field upon which we will do our work this week. And if you're sports challenged, think of it as an iPad. Okay, you're looking at the iPad, and that frame price will not close the week above the highest or below the lowest. We'll do our work inside of that window. Does it ever spill out? Oh yeah, right here. We've had quite an example this week. But we also see that it's trying desperately to get back above, get back to 26.82 or above. Now the weekly zones go out every Monday morning, 6:15 Eastern. Of late, there's been a couple of late deliveries, not by much. I do my very, very best to always get them to you before the opening bell. But normally, 6:15 Eastern, the email shows up, or if you're a passport holder, you can pop into the Telegram channel and grab them there, get them on your chart so that when the market opens, at 9:30 a.m. Eastern, you're ready to go. Or perhaps you trade them as soon as they come in, because we're on Globex, so we trade around the clock, 24/5.5, from Sunday afternoon, Sunday evening, 6 p.m. Eastern, all the way until Friday afternoon, 5 p.m. Eastern. We're actively monitoring the markets and sending out alerts and commentary. And if you want to be a part of all that, send an email to support@cfrn.net. We'll hook you up with a trial. Or you can approach me in Telegram at CFRN, the number 1. I told Michael he could be number 1, but he said it was all right, I could have it. So I guess he's at CFRN 2. Florida man Cesar Sayoc Jr. arrested in probe of mail bombs. You know, I grew up in the 70s, and I thought Rolling Stone was like so cool. The Rolling Stones were cool, yeah. I'm just afraid he's going to break a hip now with all that jumping around. He's not a young man. He's not a young man. But Rolling Stone wrote a... I felt shame when I read it last night. In my Flipboard feed, I'm not sure which keyword triggered this particular article. It was written yesterday by Rolling Stone. I'm probably going to bring it up later in the show and just let you read it on the screen yourself. It's inflammatory. It's not true. It's fake news. It is... I sat there last night and I pondered this. The original hippies, I'm talking the real hippies, who created Rolling Stone, they got to be rolling over if they're gone, and they got to be pretty ticked off if they're still around, because that's yeah, wear bell bottoms, grow your hair long, you know, if you're a lady, you don't shave, I guess, all that stuff, and get a tie-dye t-shirt and go see the Grateful Dead. They're not those people anymore. They appear to be a propaganda machine for the extreme left. I'm not going to go political on you right now. I'll save that for later. In fact, before I get all worked up, Michael, save me.
Okay. All right. Before you get all worked up.
So, hey, how about those markets?
How about those markets?
So the S&P is trying to work its way back to you, trying to work its way back above that lowest weekly trading zone.
Yes.
Now, well, you know what? I won't ask the question now. I'll wait till you're done and then I'll ask.
Okay.
Because it's... I don't want to steal your thunder, Thor.
Speaking of thunder,
I called you Thor.
I have a lot of thunder here right now.
Do you?
I do.
Yeah, when you live in places like that, you have normal weather patterns. It rains, then it doesn't rain, then it rains again. I've always been, I guess I'm an extremist, because I've lived most of my life in two places. I grew up in Georgia, where you have very similar weather to what you have. Maybe a little warmer. I think it's a little cooler where you are, from where I grew up in Georgia, between Atlanta and Augusta, a little town called Thompson, and a little town called Martinez. But I've spent most of my life in the desert, like Moses, about that long, almost 40 years, just wandering around. And the other place that I lived for a good period of time was in Portland, Oregon, where here it never rains and there it never stops raining. Actually, it rains here, but we get like our annual rainfall comes in like a half hour. 3 days out of the year you get rain, and 2 of them are drizzly in 1 day. Here's your allotment for the year. Enjoy it. So, in Portland, when we moved there, we got there in October, and this is a true story. I did not actually see the sun until like March or April. Now, you could tell the sun was there. The term I heard people use was socked in. Like somebody put a sock over your head. I mean, it just, or over the sun. You could see, you could tell there's a light emanating from behind the clouds, but actually see the sun. It was months. I know that sounds hard to believe, but anyone who lives in Portland is just nodding their head going, okay, what's new? Hey, who is Antifa and what do they want? And why are they doing whatever it is they're doing in Portland?
I don't know.
Do you know anything about that?
I don't know anything about that. I didn't know anything about the bombing, the mail bomb stuff that he told me last night.
Yeah. I'm gonna. I had the secretary order you a subscription to the newspaper.
A newspaper.
They still do that, you know.
I'm sure they do.
I was in a store with my wife the other day. Publicly traded company, Dollar Tree. I have to disclaim that. Anyway, Dollar Tree, they give you a Sunday, the Sunday newspaper, the big fat one with all the
all the ads and all that crap.
Yeah. They were giving them away, and I'm thinking, so that's where newspapers, printed newspapers, are on the economic scale today. It's kind of like it's like clickbait or something. Well, the fact that a dollar store is giving away the current newspaper, I don't know. It just, because the last time I bought a Sunday newspaper in Phoenix, Arizona, it's been more than a decade, but it was like $2.50 way back then.
Oh yeah. Yeah, no, it was when I was in Boston. It was like $5 or something like that for the Sunday paper. Yeah, for the Sunday paper, and then you'd spend all day just browsing through it,
clipping coupons. No.
Yeah.
Hey, did you hear what I was just saying about Rolling Stone?
Yes.
Did you grow up thinking it was like the cool magazine?
I never really read the magazine. I did see the Rolling Stones though. I saw them in London.
I don't know that those two are related. Honestly, I don't know.
I don't think they are. I don't think they are either. I don't think they are.
Which one came first?
I did see the Rolling Stones. What's that?
Which one came first? The magazine or the group?
Oh, the group. They're as old as the hills.
I was just talking about that, and they were recently on tour. I don't know if they're done. The one time
you worried about Mick Jagger?
Yeah, his hip. The one time in my life that I tried to be a big shot ticket scalper, backfired, man, big time. All across the country, the Rolling Stones were selling out, and so we saw opportunity. So we loaded up on tickets. I guess the demographics here were just wrong, because if I hadn't given away that final ticket, I'd have missed the show myself. So, yeah.
Yeah. No, I saw him at Wembley Stadium in London.
Oh, really? In London?
Yeah. Yeah, and it's weird the way they do concerts in London, or at least this concert. Well, all concerts that I went to in London, actually. But in this particular concert, if you get there early, you just got a floor pass, and they have like those, like the gymnast pads on the floor.
Right.
So they cover up the field with all those kinds of things, and that's what you're standing on. And this was a particularly warm and sunny day in London, which is odd, kind of like Portland.
Right.
And if you get there early,
cold. At least it's got that going for it. I like Portland. I really did. But go ahead.
But if you get there early, I mean, it's first come, first serve, and I was 3 rows back. It was like a mosh pit, but
when I saw Dr. Hook in the Medicine Show, I think in '75, that's what we had. It was just like a free for all at the Bell Auditorium in Augusta, Georgia.
Yep, it was just at one point. I mean, we were so squished in, and one of my friends, BD, Brian Dells. I can say his name because he's dead now, but
is that the rule? Okay. Better write that down. Right.
He's not going to see me. Okay. But BD, we had to lift him up and pass him forward the 3 rows so he could go, because he just couldn't take it, because he was, shorter and just couldn't stand being squished in with all those people.
I am not a crowd person. I mean, I don't freak out or anything, but I think I could. I'm just not comfortable. All these people pressing up against you and all that. I don't like it. I mean, I prefer not to.
I mean, it was so tight in there. There was this one girl who was squished up against me on my side, and this other girl who was short. She couldn't see over my back, so she climbed up my back and she was hanging on me. She climbed up my back and was hanging on me, and the Dan Reed Network opened up for him. It was the Urban Jungle Tour.
I have a friend named Dan Reed, but I didn't know there was a band.
Yeah, there's a band. There's a band, the Dan Reed Network. They were pretty good. I'd never heard of them until then. But
I'm trying to remember who played Dr. Hook in the Medicine Show. I don't even know what songs. I don't even know why I went to that thing. I wasn't really a Dr. Hook fan. I think it was just the opportunity presented itself somehow, or somebody gave me a ticket. I don't know. Let me hit mute and let you do your thing. Okay. I got to drag this up so that.
Yeah, because I have to actually get Jake and take him to the airport.
Yeah, that's why I didn't do the news. I thought you might have to go somewhere. So
I got planes, trains.
Chart is up, and I'll hit mute, and I will be here when you're done.
Okay, excellent. Here we go. All right, let's start out here. Good afternoon, everyone. Today is Friday, the 26th day of October, 2018. If you've not taken a free trial with us, go over here in the right-hand column where it says 5-day free trial, apply.cfrn.net. You can click on that, or you can click on any of these other things down here, free 5-day trial and all that stuff. And eventually, it will bring you to this page. We are on this page. All we ask for is your email, your first name, and how you found us. Click on the submit button down there, and you'll be sent a confirmation link. Now, once you get that confirmation link, you must click it, because we don't know that you took the trial until you fill that out, until you click it. And whatever you put in here for your email, it's got to be a valid email. I got 6 emails today that were invalid. Don't waste your time or my time and put in an invalid email. Okay? Okay. All right. So, as I said, today is the 26th day of October, 2018. If you're going to read the spreadsheet, you can read all the CFTC risk disclosures down at the bottom. Today we made 8 ticks on the euro, 3 ticks on crude, 1 tick on gold, and 9 ticks on the ES. 9 ticks on the ES. Today it took 41 minutes and 5 trades to get to the goal for the day. At that point, we're up $105, and we took a total of 12 trades today. So on the month now, we're up $4,531. That's over 20 days, averaging $226 per day. I love the volatility. Volatility gives us good numbers like that. Now, on the year, we're at $29,931. That's over 199 days, averaging $150 a day. Now, that is 1 contract, 2 hours per day. 1 contract, 2 hours per day. Okay, I know 29,000 a year is not a big number, but 290,000 a year is a big number, or 580,000 a year is a big number. So you just gotta, think in multiples. All right. What did we do today on gold? On gold, how did I miss that? Wow, how did I miss that? In hindsight, here would have been the trend line. There would have been the trade for the first step. And here would have been the trend line. I must have been in something else at the time. And there would have been just an awesome trade on gold at 11 o'clock. How did I miss that? We had 2 trades on gold, and we ended up with 1 tick. And I'm trying to find the first trade, and I can't. But we had a trade right here that was a break even, and we had another trade somewhere that was plus 1 tick. And during the break, there was still some good movement on the gold during the break, but no trade setups. Okay, no trade setups during the break. Yeah, wow. There were 2 trade setups here that I missed, though. There was one right here and one right here. to grab that huge move up. I can't believe that I missed that. You know, when I crunch everything up like this, it kind of puts me just a little bit at a disadvantage because I can't see the big moves that are happening. But usually I'm in them, so it doesn't matter. But today, apparently I was not. All right, on the euro. We had 2 trades on the euro. We ended up with +8 ticks. The first one was +2. I don't know where that was, and this was the second one. We got 6 on that. And I apparently didn't mark up the first one. It was probably right in here somewhere, where we got 2 ticks. And then we had the +6. Oops, sorry. I didn't go through what happened during the break. We got +6 there. That put us at +8. And then looks like there was one right there during the break. And that's it. There was nothing else. Okay. On crude oil today, we ended up with +3. We had 3 trade setups. I'll see if I marked them all. I know things were bouncing around a lot this morning, and I was having to do things like just a couple of ticks at a time, and it doesn't look like I marked anything up. You know, I had to restart a couple of times. That's probably why I don't have anything marked up here. But we made 3 ticks on crude. We had 1 break even, 1 +1, and 1 +2. I don't have them marked up here, but I am sure they were there. Now, during the break, look, I highlighted this one. When I had to reboot this morning, I think I lost all my drawing tools. During the break, it looks like I wouldn't have done anything there. We could have gone long there. Could have gone long there. Nothing there, and nothing there. All right, and on the ES now. On the ES. Wow. Yeah, the ES was really active again. You know, I love that the ES is now bouncing around like it does. There was a time when the ES had a really narrow range every day. And there was a time where it had a 6-point range every day. I mean, you could almost, if it went up 6 points, you could almost sell it and then buy it back when it went down 6 points. There was a point. And that seemed like a lot. I mean, right now we're just bouncing all over the place. I love this. On the ES, yeah, I don't have everything marked up. I lost things that were marked up. We had a break even there. We had a break even. We had a +1, a +4, and another +4. And I don't see any of them marked up here, except for that break even. But we got really choppy in here, and choppy again. And after every choppy incident, you know, there was usually a big move. And I don't see my weekly trading zones on here either right now. But we'll go through what happened during the break. Okay. I told you what we did during the session this morning, during the live training session. But during the break, let's see. There was a long trade, right? Nope, sorry. Nope, we didn't have any divergence. It was a long trade right there. A long trade right here. Following the slingshot down there, and it's just not giving us any opportunity. A long trade right here. A bounce off the BBC short right there. And that's about it. That's about it, guys. Okay, so that was our morning session. And these, back to the spreadsheet. If you're going to read the spreadsheet, you could read all the CFTC risk disclosures down at the bottom. Today, again, is the 26th day of October, 2018. We made 8 ticks on the euro, 3 ticks on crude, 1 tick on gold, and 9 ticks on the ES. That put us at 202.50 on the morning. Today it took 41 minutes and 5 trades to get to the goal for the day. At that point, we're up $105 a contract. And we took a total of 12 trades. Let me just count that out again. Yeah, we did take a total of 12 trades. On the month now, we're at $4,531. That's over 20 days, averaging $226 per day. On the year, we're at $29,931. That's over 199 days, averaging $150 per day. Okay. If you have not taken a free trial with us, go to the home page here at CFRN.net. Right over here on the right-hand column. Uh-oh. Sorry, whoever you are from Boston, I cannot answer the phone. In the right-hand column, it says apply.cfrn.net. Just click on that, and it'll bring you to this page where we ask for your email, your first name, and how you found us. Click the submit button. Once you hit that submit button, you'll be sent a confirmation link. You must click on the confirmation link. Okay, if you don't click the confirmation link, you don't know that you took the free trial. Okay? Okay. And with that, we can pass it back out to Studio A in fabulous Phoenix, Arizona, overlooking South Mountain, America's largest city park. Dwayne, if you are ready, you can take the charts back. Look at that ES go. You know, earlier in the room, I had asked Dwayne, what's the lowest weekly trading zone? And he said it was here. Where were we then? We were down here, I think. No, we were down here. That's right, we were way down here. And I said, well, we're looking for it to close above the lowest weekly trading zone. Okay, that right there was a huge buy signal. For any of you guys who are partners, who have been in here for a while, and know how these weekly trading zones work, being below the lowest weekly trading zone at the end of the week or at the beginning of the week is a buying opportunity. You know, picking out the bottom, well, I would have waited for this candle to close, then gone. Okay, I know everything here on a 30-minute doesn't scream it, but if you're doing a 164 on a 30-minute, it would have been right here, right here. So you'd have gotten long right in here. Bang. We seldom close the week. I mean, almost never close the week outside of the weekly trading zones. So Dwayne?
I was this close to being here when you called me.
Okay, you were that close. That close. Well, that's pretty darn close. That's pretty darn close. That's like within a minute close.
I was really proud of myself. I'm just telling you.
Okay. Well, I'm glad you made it back. Let me check and see if John's in here yet. John is in here.
He is.
Yes. So, let me give you a recap of the recap.
Please do.
Today, it took 41 minutes and 5 trades to get to the goal for the day. And at that point, we were up $105 a contract. Yeah, you fixed the bell.
Still an octave off. I'm going to have to send it back. Take the bell back to the top.
Better than it was this morning.
Hey, best week of the year?
Best week? It's our best month by far.
That's what I meant.
Let me check and see. Well, I don't know that it's our best month yet. We still have 3 days left. We have to get up above 4,800. But best week? Yeah, probably. Probably.
So best week, we're going to best month. Okay. In a down market. Yep. See, that somehow that needs to be like, New York Times should do a write-up or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, we're currently at multiples of last month. It doesn't matter if it's going up or down, as long as it's going one way or the other. That's all that we care about. We make money both ways. That's all we care about.
See, that's what you got to love about America. You know, any kid from any town, he can be president. He can trade futures. It's a wonderful life.
It's a beautiful life.
I just figured out, well, maybe not so much. This whole, you know, the big Apple computer that I have up in here now for the garage band and whatnot, that's like a different language. With Windows, if you don't know how to do something, if you fumble around long enough, you'll figure it out. But with Apple, that doesn't work for me. I just get frustrated. And so
I've never done anything with Apple.
Well, I mean, the iOS devices, the iPad and the iPhone, those are so intuitive. But then on a computer with this big screen, and I'm only going to use it for one purpose, and so I will learn, what commands are necessary. Like, it's got a command key on the. One of the podcasts that I listen to, the guy's always talking about hitting the command key. I'm looking at the keyboard. I don't see. I see control. I see option. Okay. Now, you said John's here. Let me get the charts back.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. Grab the charts. I can open up his mic if you want.
Sure. Yeah, because you got to run to the airport, right?
I do. I have to go to school first, and then to the airport.
Okay. All right, well, that should get me the charts back.
Yep, and I open up John's mic. John, I don't know if you can hear right now.
John, welcome to the show. Yeah, he'll be along shortly. He's logged in early because he didn't come on at all yesterday. I had sent him an email. I didn't have my phone, and couldn't.
I thought he came on. I thought he came on a little bit.
No, he logged in. I mean, he was there, and so I took a break at 4 o'clock Eastern, and put up on the screen. I'd be back at 4:15. Which I did. And John, was that you just now?
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, hey, welcome to the show. Yesterday afternoon, I had sent you that invitation to come do that recap summary with me, since you missed the regular show. Your mic was open. I could hear you, but you couldn't hear me, and I didn't have my phone. And I had a phone, but not the one with your number in it. So.
Oh, that's okay. Don't worry.
Yeah. Anyway, we were thinking about you.
Okay.
How are you today?
Well, I'll tell you what, I just put out a tweet a few minutes ago that this is the fastest rebound in history off the lows this morning. There's never been a more rapid rebound. We've never been down 500 and cut it to down 50 so fast. It's never happened. And a straight up rally right from the lows all the way.
Pretty impressive.
It sure is. And I'm telling you, listen, stuff happens on Fridays. Hopefully we're reverting a potential 87. If we turn down, later on today, unfortunately, it would almost accentuate the likelihood of something really bad happening. But this may be, a pretty good, a good enough rebound, put it this way, to look. We only have to stay positive on the Nasdaq. We're up 30 a short while ago. After being down a couple of hundred. I don't think that's ever happened before so fast either. And it was a bit of a tough bottom to pick, but we did have a positive divergent buy signal again, so that was a big relief. So for several reasons, the Chinese markets didn't make a new low. I think some of the emerging markets didn't. The breadth didn't make a lower low, so we had a reasonable setup. It wasn't a hugely compelling bottom, but it's turned into one, and it's really tremendous. Actually, we just sold the Nasdaq a few minutes ago at 69.60, 69.50 now. Ideally, what we want to see, and I actually said this a short while ago, is before this huge surge, was we wanted to see a consolidation at the higher levels. We got the consolidation. It was actually pretty short-lived, and shortly after Trump's announcement, the market took off, and we got up to actually a plus 35 on the Nasdaq. We're now plus 40 actually, and we're up 23 right now. We got to within a couple of points of going positive on the S&P. We put out a buy across the board buy on all the stocks this morning, especially the ETFs, the leveraged ETFs on the semiconductors and the techs. We believe it or not, we put in a buy around 100. Actually, we traded in and out of them a couple of times for a few points before they bottomed out. It got down to about 114. I think we had a buy at 115. Just hit 125, 10 points. Not a bad gain for the day.
Nice. Very nice.
And 85 on the SOX, and we're at 93 right now. So just where we were at 93 a few minutes ago. And also the LABU put in a big turnaround today too. The VIXs were a tough call this morning. You know, on that near the highs, but we did sell them. Actually, they're giving a little bit of a buy right now. But now the other big news of the day is the metals. The gold, you know, in a kind of a panic spike, got up to 12.45, and the silver up to about 14.79. We sold them up around 12.45 and 14.77, 14.76. They have plunged because that's what they do when the market gets its, you know, gets its mojo back. But you know, the day's not over. I mean, listen, there's no bets either way today. If we close high today, that will be great, but we're not there yet. But this is a really impressive rebound. And look, some of there's always you know, there's always, like the other day was Tesla. Today it's Intel, which is a very important stock that's actually acting higher. Tesla is also, you know, after a couple of days of consolidation, Tesla's breaking out to the upside again. There's a couple of other stocks that are up dramatically, that are kind of, you know, leading the way higher, if you like. So look, as long as we hold up around these levels, don't give back too much, there's a reasonable shot of a late rally today. And the later, the higher we go today, I mean, if we go positive on all the indices, that will be fantastic. And the one thing to be, even though we're up a lot, if we do go positive, stay positive on the Nasdaq and go positive on the other indices, the surprises could be on the upside. You know, we could, I mean, it's not inconceivable the Dow could be up a couple of 100 points before the day's out, given the enormity of this rebound. Now, it's coming off here, so we have to be, you know, careful about, because this is the hard part is when you get these corrections is trying to figure out where the you know, where the next bottom is, because you don't want to get your head handed to you on the way down, kind of thing. So the other thing is the dusts. Well, look, the golds had a very bad day yesterday. They're having a great day today, which we kind of anticipated. The dollar made a nominal new high today, and we sold it, and that's come off pretty sharply. We actually rebought it, covered in reverse just a short while ago. It's having a little bit of a pop here. I hope it's not going to go any higher. If it breaks down and we start going down below 96 before the day's out, I think that will be a sign that the highs may be in on the dollar. And actually, you could see a pretty drastic move down in the dollar in the next few days, and that might actually help the market if that happens. You know, because we'll be entering a new phase, a different kind of phase in the market. So and the dollar going down should be helpful to stocks going forward. The hard part of this deal is, and is, you know, the fact that we're way down on the week. You know, can the market reverse next week without coming down and testing the lows again? The answer is could do, but it's not by no means any guarantee, and we could go lower next week. In spite of everything, we could test the lows again next week, and either by a little or even a lot. It would be better if we didn't, because if we just went straight up from this, what that tells me is usually before the final upsurge, you know, if we're at the beginning of a multi-thousand point run to the upside, which we could be, you know, even a 10,000 point upside, we're 25, well, say 7, call it 7, we're 25,000 roughly. So 7 and 5, 12, that gets us to our 33,000 target sometime in the next couple of years. Just one sec.
Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry.
What are the alerts out today? We had alerts carrying over from last night, and there are going to be some more coming today. But as you can see here, alert number 700, which came out today. Now that's Pacific time, 7:33 a.m., so it's 10:33 Eastern. Consider buying crude 67.20 to 67.40 if the opportunity presents. Crude is the first market where I started to see green shoots and the possibility of a real bounce versus another dead cat bounce. This does not cancel the current open, not active alert below the market. Look above and make note of the numbers. Weakness showing up as I type. We'll update soon. And so that was back again 10:33. And so that puts us in this candle. And so we were looking for the move again from 67.20 to 67.40. And always, it goes without saying, trail if possible. And we have a very distinct method for trailing, and we do not have an exit signal as of yet. We could have one about to appear. So that was a $200 alert, which turned into, if you use our method of trailing, I turned it into a $600 per contract alert. So go ahead, John.
Okay, sorry, thanks for that. Yeah, so we're already kind of heading back up again. This is pretty good, and it kind of looks that way on your. Oh no, sorry, that's the crude.
That's
is that
crude. Yeah, on,
crude.
on the S&P. Let me just bring that up.
Yeah, it looks like way on the S&P too. This is.
Okay, on the S&P. What is it that had me concerned there? Oh, we have our lowest weekly trading zone. Well, I should put it on this chart. There we go. Our lowest weekly trading zone is at 2682/83, and you know our old thing about we believe the market will close at or above 2682. Although I just put up that I thought there's the potential for down leg. Now, just because there's potential doesn't mean it's going to. That's why it says if the opportunity presents. So we like to be prepared. Rather than trying to scramble as the market starts to decline. What am I going to do? What are my numbers? You pre-plan, and I got lots of plans that never execute. And in fact, a lot of alerts that I put out, I don't anticipate that they are going to execute. But I see everyone fishing off the same side of the boat. So if it if the pendulum just happens to swing the other way and catch people off guard, then that's just a golden opportunity if you're already, have your game plan and can take advantage of everyone who's now racing to the other side of the boat. Because they're either getting stopped out or they got to exit their position, which helps you, and then they have to enter the market, which helps you, and so it's a win-win.
Is that a 30-minute you're on there?
Yes,
or an
John,
hour?
yes.
Yeah, because it was a huge hourly reversal. It was one of those double hour reversals today.
Oh, right here. Yeah.
Yeah, right. I mean, that kind of across the board that really nailed it. And generally speaking, when you put in a really high quality bottom, it tends to propel much higher. So what it looks like to me is we're going to get up towards somewhere between 2705 to 2725, maybe even 30 up there. Then we could pull back and maybe test test the 2700, maybe test or come down to 2685, somewhere like that, and then we could go back higher again, and then we could start coming up towards the previous highs of of yesterday and the day before. That would really start to put in a meaningful bottom of very impressive structure, because the weekly already is looking quite positive based on where we are right now, and secondly it's kind of like and the daily, given that we've gone positive in the S&P now, we're up 2.5, up 53 on the Nasdaq. Can you believe this?
if this stumbles here,
yeah, that's bad. It's we've got to hold the gains now. We got to. Listen, we're about to go positive on the Dow after being down 500 a couple of hours ago. That's never happened before in history. Never happened. It's never happened.
We have a 62% reverse Fib right here, John. I'll put it back up. Those are the extensions.
And we've been saying, you know, for the last couple of days, you know, we've been saying when you even though, you know, it's the buy the dip has been a kind of a, you know, it's a crazy thing to do. If you bought the dip, as long as you bought the dip and sold the rallies, what happens when you bought the dips the last couple of days? You had big rallies, right? Some like this one you can just see off the edge of the screen on the left. You know, that was a pretty big rally before it got whacked. No, yeah, that one there. You know, and then it sort of ran out of gas. Then we had a big sell-off. But I've always said, you know, when you get you've got to be disciplined to buy these new dips when they come, because you never know. You know, you got to play for a bottom. You got to play for the all-time bottom, even though it may not yet be there, because the worst case scenario is you get a bounce, or you get nothing. Or the worst case scenario is you get lower. Better case is you get a bounce, and the best case is the bottom is in, and that's where we could be today. So that's the exciting part of it.
Yeah, here's a real for us a big picture point of view. This is just an hourly chart, but I've scrunched it up. It takes us back to really the beginning of October.
That's now that, you know, that it really does start to look like a real bottom, you know. But
you know, look at this here right at the end. I mean, let me open that up so we can see that. That's, you know, I can't. I don't trade based on my feelings. Everything that we do is based upon what's on the screen in front of us, but I just have to admit, I can't help but feel like there's one more leg to the downside.
No, look, you're probably right. You know, it's going to be debatable to see if we do have a leg to the downside. The nightmare scenario is we have an 87 kind of a deal going on, and because it's almost unavoidable if we turn down. Especially after what happens last night. I mean, I was actually, you know, we had a fantastic rally yesterday, and fortunately near the close, I even went long on a dip on Amazon and took about $4 or $5 out on the upside, and then I decided to sell it, and at the same moment I sold the S&P right at the highs last night, and the NASDAQ. Next thing you know, bang, you know, this unbelievable downdraft, which actually came on a kind of a backdrop of fairly good news. You know, I mean, Amazon beat on its numbers, but it didn't beat on its revenues, and I guess the market didn't like that.
I thought it was. I thought it was a complete. I was getting ready to ask you about that. I thought it was a complete miss, but
no, I'm pretty sure it was 5 billion versus 5 something versus 3,
now,
and that was a head scratcher. You know,
who was it? I looked up yesterday. Was it Gilead? I think it was Gilead. They reported yesterday, and their numbers weren't on the surface. I'm not big on reading those things or listening to the conference calls.
It's up huge off the lows this morning.
Okay, so Gilead. I don't see if you maybe you see a headline there with their earnings numbers from yesterday, but they were positive after hours. You know?
Yeah, that, well, you know, it's kind of like
Amazon
Tesla.
Down
you know,
$100, 5.5%.
Yeah, in spite of like, you know, everything got clocked this morning. If you bought the low, if you bought the open of Tesla, you're up about $20 right now. 20 literally. So it's that kind of a day, you know. And actually yesterday was the best day since my favorite day, which I often refer to, August 24th, 2015. That was the day the Dow opened down 1,000 points and came back. But this is actually kind of a, you know, it's only half as bad.
What day was that? The day after Martin Luther King Day?
No, this is August 24th, 2015.
Oh, 2015. Okay.
Yeah. So that was, yesterday was the best day since then, and possibly today.
Oh, did you say, you said August the first time? For some reason I thought you said February.
Yeah.
The last, go ahead.
Yeah. So I think we're running into a bit of trouble here now. We're probably going to pull back a bit, and as long as we don't pull back too much, we consolidate here. I think we could be in pretty good shape, especially if we can hold being up 40 or 50 points on the NASDAQ. That's a really good place to be. And you know, if you compare it to August 24th, you know, and we were down 500 this morning. I guess the smart money figured, you know what, it's not as bad as it looks, really, even though we're down 700. You know what, when I put out my thing on October the 2nd, at 2 o'clock in the afternoon to sell everything, and I think the last time I did that was the same way. It was March 24th, 2000, and I actually said the Nasdaq's going to go down about 750. Guess what? The Nasdaq, as of today, has gone down the exact same amount, down 750 to the lows this morning. So it's kind of interesting, because I thought of the Nasdaq it was kind of a far-fetched idea on October the 2nd that the Nasdaq might go down 750 points before the end of the month, but that's where we are. But remember where we were in 2000 versus where we are today. You know, we're 3 times higher, or 2.5 times higher, right? So, you know, these numbers, I mean, if we're only down 750 for the month compared to 750 in a week from March 24th, 2000, we're doing pretty well, you know. We're not doing too badly at all.
No, you are absolutely right. So here we are, right at that weekly trading zone, and this is a pretty important 30-minute candle here, because what happens if this thing closes below that zone, then that next leg down could come in today's session. If this 30-minute candle closes above this zone, then I think we are in the land of it being a high probability that we don't get that down leg until perhaps Sunday night on the Globex Open, or maybe Monday morning when Europe opens for trading at 3 a.m. Eastern. So, is this? I mean, this has just been an incredibly historic week. It's been a great week, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
In the live training room, I mean, you know, you've heard about all the carnage and blood in the streets and this and that. We just had, I think Michael said it was our best week of the year in the live training room, and we're working on our best month of the year.
Well, listen, there's no doubt that the show calls it pretty much, I think we call it better than anybody out there, plain and simple. Between the 2 of us, or the 3 of us, you know, I think we got these markets nailed. I mean, listen, there's nobody's cooking. Some of your calls, whether just by sheer luck or positioning of the way you, I mean, it's a tough way, you know, a lot of times when you put your parameters out at night, you know, you can't see what's going to happen in the future. It's hard. But some of them have worked out so well, it's staggering. And I think you've caught most of these down moves this week. And I said a long time ago, you know, there's almost never been a time when you've missed them, you know, and kudos to you for that.
Well, thank you very much. That's very kind of you to say. I really appreciate that. I really appreciate that. And I learned a lot of, you know, a lot of what I do and know is because of our friendship and our relationship. It's the thing,
you know, I mean, obviously experience is the experience. You know, look, there's a lot of tricks to the market. There's a lot of things that anybody who just thinks they know how to trade can do this. It's very, very difficult. You know, you have to have your wits about you, and I mean, look, it's even though I put out that sell on October the 2nd, I honestly didn't think the market would come down this much in October. And it hasn't been an easy ride, because there's been up and downs. You know, it's been a lot of false breakdowns, and there's been a lot of false breakups. You know, so you have to trade these pretty carefully. And I actually figured out some stuff today. Sometimes, and also when you get into this kind of extreme volatility scenario, you have to adjust your parameters somewhat to deal with the short-term nature. You know, I just found some new time frames this morning that worked extremely well in picking the highs and lows today. And I mean, look, sometimes it's hard because you put tweets out, and you know the market can move 10 points even as you hit the button. You know, right. Sometimes it takes off, but the way
sometimes we have, you know, and this happens. It happens so often. It's just odd. We'll have an alert to go long or short at any particular price, and it will march right up to the tick, touch the number, now, and then reverse and head in the opposite direction. Now, in the markets, and when that happens, some people got filled at that price, some people didn't. When it happens on an alert, we have to assume the worst just for integrity's sake, and so we mark that as a stop out. But the amount of times that it happens, that it'll run right up to the number, or one tick before it, or one tick after it, and then just so it makes the point that this is an important price and an important area. Just happened, you know, my way of viewing it did not line up with what actually happens, but there's still that satisfaction of knowing that, okay, all right, perhaps it wasn't a profitable trade, perhaps it had to be moved over to the expense column instead of income, but at least we nailed the important price, important area. I mean, when you lose real money, that's some consolation, you know, doesn't completely make up for it, but it gives you the impetus to go find the next one, you know, to get back out there, to not be afraid. I mean, trading is risky. I mean, you see that disclaimer everywhere you go, trading is risky. Yes, it is. And you have to be willing to accept the risk and assume the risk. And if you don't want to accept risk like that, you certainly don't have to. There's investing. Do like Warren Buffett said, you have to buy the index when you're a young man, 21, and starting a family, you know, and you got a nice retirement, because the S&P 500 is always going to go up. It's a best of breed index. The weak are kicked to the curb, the strong and rising are brought in. So yes, we'll have, you know, sell-offs and crashes and whatever people want to label it. I mean, it wasn't that long ago we were trading at 666. Remember the big real estate crash, John?
Oh yeah.
666. I mean, oh my goodness, everyone just knew, especially traders. I mean, this is the end of the world. The S&P went to 666. It was at 1,500. 15 and change. I don't remember the exact number. It fell 900 points. No, 800. Between 800 and 900. No, more than. No, that's right. And now here we sit. Okay. Look at this. Do you see this up here on the NQ?
Mm-hmm.
That's our lowest weekly trading zone for the NQ. As soon as that thing gets out of the way, 6760/61. That's this week's lowest weekly trading zone for the NQ.
Well, the interesting thing, the reason why that is, Dwayne, is because that's what gave us the positive divergent buy signal this morning. Because that was one of there wasn't just that. There was about 3 or 4 factors in there, but the Nasdaq didn't make a lower low, you know, and that's versus
right here. You're talking about right here. It didn't make a lower low.
Yeah, exactly. Okay.
Can draw a line up that thing.
Yeah, and it didn't make a lower low from yesterday either. So it was. Wait a minute, am I getting that right? Sorry, no, it made a slightly lower low, yeah. but it was the best of breed, if you like. You know, so these were important, and you know, we're not giving up much ground here on the NAS.
This looks.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. The S&P, it's still straddling the line, and I got that wick up top. We got 10 minutes left in this 30-minute candle. And by the way, folks, there's nothing magical about a 30-minute chart. I used to use an hourly chart for years here on the show, and then I switched up to a 30. I think just to make sure nobody fell under the spell that, oh, that's a magic time frame. There are no magic time frames. At least I don't know of any. Do you know of any, John?
There's a few.
Yeah, well, I don't. I'm working without a net. I don't have any magic times. I used to think there. I mean, I looked for a long time, and I thought it had to do with fib numbers. So I tried the 89 tick chart and the 144 and the 233, and you know, everything works some of the time, and nothing works all the time except the market. The market works all the time. And so if you can learn to take your cues, not from man, not from indicators, but from the market, guess what? You'll be ringing the bell a lot.
Yep.
Just agree with the market. Don't disagree. Don't try to, you know, I don't care what the guy said on TV. Oh, speaking of TV, yesterday, oh, and Gary, thank you so much. Years ago, I looked for Fox Business News on Cox Cable. It wasn't there. And so I never looked again. I just, okay, they don't carry it. Well, I found out yesterday they do carry it. And so I, you know, watched the CNBC for years just as like a, kind of like wallpaper, just a backdrop, the video, no audio, to see the numbers scroll. And I got a whole new world now with this Fox Business. All I had to do was just
Fox Business is, I have them up together all the time.
What do you think of that fellow Barney? He's got a 2-hour show in the mornings.
Yeah,
I
he's
thought
good.
He was a political guy because I see him at
No,
Fox,
he's a good old Brit, you know.
Yeah, I don't know.
He and I were from London, the two of us. So
my wife
he's got more of an accent than I have.
This morning, my wife goes, he reminds me of John. I go, you don't even know John. She goes,
but my accent is way more mid-Atlantic than his is.
She goes, no, I think he looks like that too, not just sounds like him. She goes, that's John.
You should. You know? There's a new show if you go actually on every afternoon on NBC. They got rid of the Maoris and the scandal shows. What was the name of that guy who used to have that show?
Oh, Jerry Springer.
Yeah, that's gone. So they've got the Daily Mail.
I have someone. I know someone who was on that show.
Yep.
And it's so much of it's just they get these people with these weird situations and they inflame the heck out of them and they get them all worked up. And they told her, when you go out there, first thing you do, he's going to bring you roses, slap him, you know. And slap the roses out of his hand.
You know, this, in a way, what we're doing here in a small way on radio and YouTube and stuff. There's a guy who took that thing about the cheating. You know, he's done it on YouTube now. He's got 30 million, getting 30 million a month, 30 million views a month off it.
Wow.
So
what's he doing?
He's exposing people who cheating on each other and setting them up and that kind of thing. You know, they used to have a show on Fox. I forget his name. Similar kind of a thing, but it just shows you what you can do from a grassroots, from just kind of how you can basically come up with a major idea, and all of a sudden it's a huge hit on YouTube, and the guy is making a ton of money off it.
You know, these kids, like my daughter, she comes home with this head full of, she knows all these people on YouTube, and I mean, from the songs to the everything. There's a whole world out there for kids, but parents, be careful. You got to monitor what your kids are doing. There's bad stuff on YouTube, and you can keep them on the kid-friendly channels, and that's great. But she knows them. She knows them by name. I'm like, and she doesn't get to do that here at home. On the weekends, I mean, she has computer time, but it's not living life on a keyboard. She doesn't have a cell phone, because I don't think that's good for kids, not for their health, mental or physical health.
Yeah.
And go ahead.
No, sorry. You finish. Go ahead.
I just wanted to say that some of these kids out there that are doing YouTube broadcasts, they've got 1 million followers and more. She wanted to show me a video the other night of some, it's called Kids Bop, and they were dancing to that fight song, which is, I guess, a popular song. This is my fight song. Anyway, they got a little dance, and she wanted to show me, and she wanted me to dance with her, and so Daddy dances with his daughter. And I looked up at the screen, and that video had 30 million views.
Yeah, I know they happen.
It might have been 300. I don't know. It was more common.
No, it happens. It happens. Yeah, I was looking at some over the weekend, and I was astonished at really kind of crazy, wacky kind of videos that are about 10 million views. It's really amazing.
You just don't catch fire.
Just going back to that Daily Mail show, if you want to, the Daily Mail TV it's every afternoon at 2 p.m. I think it's at 2 p.m. Eastern on NBC, It's a new. It's a
site real quick. Have you seen this?
yeah. It's a new. It's a new show. It's a new show. Yeah, I have. It's very good.
Yeah, it's kind of pretty. Catches the eye.
Yeah, I like the passport.
So it's called. Tell
King
me the
Dwayne.
name. Huh?
I said I like the passport. King Dwayne with your crown there.
You know what? One of the members of the audience, Gary, the first time I showed that logo on the show, he goes, "That's Freddie Mercury's crown." I'm like,
Oh, really?
what? And so I brought up a picture. He sent me a link, and sure enough, there's a video with Freddie Mercury of Queen wearing. I mean, it is like identical to that crown. It's amazing. And the fact that he spotted that and knew that, he's our new go-to music guy. If you
okay.
Now, dailymail.tv.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sure there's a men's show.
Actually, if you just go to Google Daily Mail for now, just go. Okay.
Okay.
Just go, because it's got a link. Okay, just click on the yeah. So you see that on the right hand side, Daily Mail TV. See that?
Yes. Gotcha. Find out what shows on in your area. Okay. Channel 7. I would have never thought to look for anything big.
But it's a good show. It's kind of like Inside Edition type of show, but they have reporters all over the world, and they have some crazy accents. If you want to listen to some wacko British accents, that's
really? So
yeah.
it's a British program. What do you think about this Megyn Kelly?
Well, I think it's a bit overdone, but listen,
I thought.
And people saying they're offended. People like Al Roker saying that she owes an apology.
Goodness
For God's
gracious,
sake,
get a life.
Exactly.
I mean, that's just absolutely ridiculous.
I know.
Now, I used to really like her, and then she went home. She went on maternity leave, and when she came back, wow, she was a different person.
Yeah.
And then she got her own show.
She got a bit too big for her boots. She got kind of
I think so.
She was a bit of a prima donna, and she got such a huge deal. And when she left Fox, listen, she built up a big audience at Fox, and good luck to her. She looks like she's going to get the whole deal, the 69 million. So,
John, you're not going to believe this. I don't mean that in a bad way, folks, but do you recognize that person?
No, I don't. No.
Joni Mitchell.
Oh, really?
That makes me feel, that just added 10 years to my life. That's the Joni Mitchell. When I hear Blue, I'll always see that face, My goodness. She is probably, in my opinion, she's one of the top 2 or 3, maybe 5 songwriters in the world. And artists.
Sinead O'Connor just became a Muslim.
I saw that. I almost woke my wife up last night because in the 80s when Sinead O'Connor came on, my wife, we were like early adopters of the MTV and all that, and so I called I just stopped myself because she told me she'd been having trouble sleeping lately, and I was like, "Hey, look at," and I backed away. I said, "I'll just let her sleep. I'll have to show it to her today." Now, I guess she wrote a book. She didn't pass it. Look, that's Joni Mitchell. No, that's not Joni Mitchell. Come on. Even I know that. That's Taylor Swift. That's Joni Mitchell. Oh, they do look alike. I never noticed that before. All right, let me take this down. Uh-oh. Look at there, John.
Yeah, I know it's bad.
Oh, and we're getting ready to trigger, guys. I think. Where did I put that? Is it here? Is it here?
It's accelerating now. We're down 110 again on the Dow. See, it's a real problem when you can't hold the positive. Anyhow, look, if it holds in here, maybe down 50 on the Nasdaq, or maybe down a couple of hundred on the Dow, and starts to turn back up again, we might be all right. But
there we go. Okay. So the alert that we put out just a little bit ago hasn't triggered yet, but we're looking to be short 2670 to 68. to 65. Oh my goodness, I need to put that in the channel. What's your thoughts on this guy who's been, you know, Halloween pretending to be the Unabomber or something? I hate even saying that word. I hate even giving him airtime, or whoever he is. They arrested a guy today, but we don't know. What are your thoughts at large?
You know, I think he's just went out to rattle a few people, and probably with the idea, you know, his game plan was probably to send a warning saying, look, this is just a warning. If you keep doing this, you might get the real deal, kind of thing. You know, that's the way it looks.
Well, if they do arrest this guy, we know too little right now to really say anything, but I'm worried about the copycat. So
but maybe things will calm down a bit from here. You know, we'll see what happens with this election. You know, I mean, part of my reasoning for selling, it's funny because the market was so strong going into the end of September. Remember, going higher and having these surges. And you sort of think to yourself, you know, is anybody worried about the election? You know, and what happens if the Democrats win? You know, and it sort of was completely kind of off the radar until, bang, this correction starts. And now, you know, somebody came out yesterday and says, well, if the Dems win now, we're down another 10%. And it probably could be, you know, so this is part of the problem. But look, we might be going back to test the 6,900 breakout on the NASDAQ. And if we can hold that, then maybe we can get the energy to go back up again. So let's see what happens if we get that area. But you know, we went down so fast. I mean, if we go back down again to the lows today, that most likely will be unprecedented. Although I remember back in 2008, in October, towards the end of October, actually, there was a time when the S&P actually went limit up twice. It went limit up, and then it went limit up by the extension, and then next day went all the way back down to the lows. So it can happen. It can happen.
I don't have a daily chart in front of me. Are we printing an inside day? No, we put in a slightly
outside day. No, would it be?
Just switch this one to daily.
Yeah, it's an outside day for sure. I think it's an outside day.
Hang on. Must be a big. Whatever. You know what my my volume indicator is? When my chart locks up, I know there's a big surge of transactions just went through the exchange because it just kind of chokes me up a little bit. All right, so this is daily.
No, it's not. It's not an outside day yet. We haven't gone up enough on the S&P. I mean, even the way it looks right.
Do you ever look at a day session chart? I mean, because I always use the Globex chart.
How do you mean it?
Well, you can, some charts you can set it up like this one. It has over here. You can tell it that you want the day session only. So, in other words, from 9:30 Eastern to 4 p.m. Eastern, when the stock market's open.
Oh, right.
Tell it over here to just run the day session. The interesting dynamic there is that on a day session chart, you get a new hourly candle on the half hour because Wall Street opens at 9:30. Globex, you get a new hourly candle at the top of the hour because it opens at 6 p.m. Eastern. You follow me? I am a firm believer on that hourly chart that in the last 10 minutes to the first 10 minutes of an hourly candle, okay, the last 10 minutes of an hourly candle and then the first 10 minutes of an hourly candle, I'm of the mind that that's where 80% of the movement takes place. Now, there may be a lot of back and forth, but as far as directional move, every time I go back and revisit that, to see if it holds, if it still holds water, it does. And not on every candle. I mean, don't hold my feet to the fire, folks. But I think if if you're looking for a chance to make a sandwich, do it about a quarter after, right? And then get back to your platform, because the half-hour thing. Remember, on Globex, we're going to print a new hourly candle, top of the hour, on a day session. All the guys out there trading stocks, okay, they're going to get their new hourly candle on the half. And I think they can make a difference, so just watch out for it. Okay, what else do we want to cover? Oh, I wish you'd have been here yesterday. We had a great conversation with Tom, Dr. Tom. He lives in Palm Beach. I did not know that. And he's got a little mini TV studio in his residence. And I recently acquired a server and bandwidth. I'm going to be hosting 20 separate new TV stations. Internet TV. Internet TV is the revolution. He's got the green screen. He's got the little umbrellas, with the lights. He described it to us. And then I looked at the software he's running to power it all last night, and I went to Craigslist to make it happen the way he's making it happen. He uses a Canon Rebel digital SLR 35 millimeter, and this software, Sparko Cam, I think it's called. It turns that very nice Canon camera, the Rebel, into a video camera, because you know how most video cameras don't have the greatest quality pictures. They've gotten a lot better over the years. So the least expensive one I could find used on Craigslist was about $300. So I'm going to create some kind of an alert. I might use that if this then that site. Are you familiar with that? If this then that. Oh, you used it? Okay. All right. How about, the other thing I want to ask you, but I'm going to get one when I see one drop to 100. When somebody really needs to sell it or just doesn't want it anymore. So, text expander. Do you use that at all?
No.
Are you familiar with it?
No, not really.
Well,
no.
What it does is, like, when I type something, like, in other words, to make that alert bold like that in the Telegram channel or in any of the channels, I have to do this. I have to go. And then the alert number. Okay. Now, if I use text, if I have text expander running, I can go in and I can tell text expander when I go /A space type that, which will show up like this. So you know how you all day long you're typing the same things over and over, whether it's your address or your phone number or just through the course of the day. I know that I type the same thing over and over and over. So I used text expander years ago, and then I switched computers, never reinstalled it, but I'm in the process of putting it back in because it really increases your productivity. I mean, look at all the keystrokes you save. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Reduce 10 keystrokes to 2. And over the course of a day, it's definitely a time saver. The other, there was another one I think I wanted to mention to you. Text expander. It was something that Tom had mentioned yesterday. What the heck was it? I had it on the tip of my tongue a second ago and I forgot. Is there anything else that you want to cover?
No, listen.
I've got time, and I'm happy to.
No, it's okay because I got to get some stuff done. So, but thanks very much, Dwayne, and have a great weekend. There's some Mexican Grand Prix this weekend with hopefully.
I was going to ask you, what do you think about
Hamilton will pull off the World Championship. Sorry.
Yeah, I didn't mean to interrupt, but what do you think about this border closure?
Well, they're certainly tightening up. It's going to be a pretty big standoff, so we'll see what happens.
Well, they're not going to get there till like December, right?
Well, I don't know about that. I
if
think
they
they'll
continue
get some
the
help.
charade of how we're marching and not riding on the
Yeah,
bus.
no, I think they'll get help. They might even, you know. Actually, I heard the mayor of Tijuana, of all people, was saying that there's no way these people just like, you know, answered some sort of call on the internet and all gathered up and started marching forward. He says it's a highly coordinated.
Yes,
you know,
I believe
deal.
that, no doubt.
Yeah.
No doubt, it is orchestrated
to the nth degree.
Yes, as much as I mean, and they're not even trying to hide it apparently. So, all right. Well, listen, you have a great weekend. Oh, that email that you sent me the other day with that phone number. Do you know if he's in today?
Yeah, you can call him right away.
And when
anytime.
you said
I'm sure you got him.
did you mean near to you or near to me?
No, near to you.
Oh,
he's down the road, literally down the road from you.
Awesome. Yeah. Okay, thank you so much for that. I really appreciate it.
Okay, no, he's a good guy. I'm sure he'll help you. He'll get
great.
it done for you.
All
Thanks
right.
a lot.
Thank you, John.
Bye.
Have a great weekend.
You too. Bye.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I'll take care of John's microphone, and then we will take a look at a couple more things. If there are any questions, I just see now there's questions in the chat box. I looked earlier, there wasn't. Now there is. There always is, I just don't look sometimes. Okay. Jones says that Joni Mitchell is recovering from a major brain problem several years now. You know, Joan, I saw her on TV. It was some music award, something. It's been in the last couple years, but I don't think I knew that. Was it a stroke that she had? And I'm thinking it may have happened since I saw her. I don't know. She really is one of my favorites. We talked yesterday, a scientific study says songs you are most likely to be emotional about, or that stir up emotions in you, are the songs you listened to when you were 14. Not 13, not 15, 14. Now, at 14, I didn't know who Joni Mitchell was. I was apparently not one of the cool kids. I was like an Elton John and Led Zeppelin and Seals and Croft. That was my playlist before we had playlists. Mostly we just had a lot of cassette tapes sliding around on the floor every time you went around the corner. Before that it was 8 tracks. And TL, you're correct, it was neither inside or outside, right? Yes, and you are correct. I've seen it written up a couple different ways. I'll share with you guys what TL shared. Many times the daily direction is based on whatever direction the market breaks out on after the first half hour of trading from 9:30 to 10. In other words, you wait for the first half hour of trading and then watch for that high to be broken or that low to be broken, and then proceed accordingly. And there are many days when that will serve you well. You can't use it standalone, or at least I can't use it standalone, but it's something I'm certainly cognizant of, and also something that I encourage all of our partners, passport holders, students, friends, family, to do is watch for the 10 a.m. Eastern reversal. Very often. In fact, the 1 week I taught on it all week, it just so happened that week, I think we had 3 out of 5 days gave us, might have been 4 out of 5, gave us that 10 a.m. reversal. What happened at 10 a.m. today? Okay, the market's climbing from 9:30 to 10. At 10 o'clock, boom. At 10 o'clock, we begin, and look, no wick on top. Okay. So when this candle closed and this candle opened, it never went 1 tick north. All it did was drop until it hit the zone. that's a pretty good indication that you... Now, is this a reversal or a pullback? I didn't put in a new low, so we can place it in the pullback category. But it does happen to show up here. Let's see what happened yesterday. Let's see, 10 o'clock, 9:30. Okay, not yesterday. And not this day. So we've only come across one so far. Here's this one. There's 9:30 to 10, 10 to 10:30, and then when the 10:30 candle opened, this one was running 30 minutes late. But this inside, you see how this, that's called a bullish harami, if I've got my candlestick lingo right. I don't think it's a picture perfect example, but harami is Japanese for with child, and so it's really, you know, the textbook example would look more like, where the textbook example would be more like this, and this. So it's with child, here's the lady, here's the baby, and the higher she carries the child, this is how the story goes, the more bullish the signal. Now, it's no signal at all unless it's in proper context. In other words, you need, based on the time frame you're observing, whether it's a daily chart or a 1 minute chart, you need a downtrend. Now when this comes at a downtrend, it is bullish. When this appears after an uptrend, it's bearish. After a downtrend, buy signal, or a candlestick signal. A candlestick signal to buy, or to consider being long. It's on a downtrend. On the uptrend, which would come this way, on the uptrend, I'm telling you to get short. And most ebooks, PDFs, wherever you learn candlesticks, will tell you to trigger at the close of that candle. Well, a lot of ground to cover. Probably won't get it all covered today. Maybe I'll make some videos. Now, thanks for sharing that, Teal, because there's probably a lot of people in the audience that have not heard that before. So don't get out of bed, you know, looking for the 10 a.m. reversal, and don't get out of bed going, don't sell your soul to any one thing, but to know those things, to know that it is a thing, that's a thing in and of itself. It's a good thing. It's a good thing to know that these things are there. Now, the question eventually leads to, well, do they become self-fulfilling prophecies? Maybe to some degree, but that doesn't change the earnings of a 5 or 10 point drop or rally if you're on the profitable side of the move. Like I say, especially with the 10 a.m. reversal. I mean, we just went through like 4 days and we saw it like once, but yet that other week we saw it 3 or 4 out of 5. So you don't get out of bed looking for it, but if it shows up, you recognize it. It's like somebody comes to your door, you look out the peephole, oh, I know you, come on in, right? but you weren't sitting in your living room hoping, oh man, I hope that guy comes and knocks on my door, or that girl, or that lady, or that whatever. You know, watch pot never boils. Moving back to okay, what was the low here? 26.64. Okay. What I just put out. Consider selling 26.70 to 68 to 65 if the opportunity presents. So if we get all of these out of the way, and we'll put it up. We can see it. There you go. Okay. And so 26.70 was the entry that I posted just a few moments ago. We'll get rid of our little box. The alert said to consider selling 26.70. And right now we're getting the important prices, important areas, almost always tested. That's happening right now as we speak. So 26.70. And then the final target, it was just 5 points, right? No. $68 to $65. Oh, and tip to 60 and beyond if invited. And that invitation, it could be in the mail. So this is final target. Final target. 26.65. There we go. It's 5 S&P points. Now let me walk you through something that we brought up on this show last night. And you may have thought of this before. Maybe you've thought of it in not exactly the same way, but it's worth sticking around for 5 minutes. Let me see what other questions are here. Amon, I see that you had, I'm catching up on comments here. It's that multi-screen software. Did anybody get that to work? Okay, here's my story. I downloaded it, installed it on the 2 computers. I did everything perfect. I just couldn't get it to work. When I would drag my mouse to the left, it didn't show up on the other computer screen. So I'm starting to doubt. So then I did a Google search and came up with something called Share a Mouse, or Mouse Share, which embraces the Apple computer that I've brought into the mix between the 2 PCs. Okay, this is perfect. Well, I installed that and it worked flawlessly. I mean, I didn't have to even, I installed it and then I moved my mouse to the left and whoop, there it was, across the room on another computer on another screen. Unfortunately, this Apple computer is running OS X, which I think time frame 2007, 2008, so it can't run the program, which is unfortunate. there are some pay-for-play programs out there, which I may end up using. I don't know, because that would be just so beneficial. When I told my wife, she goes, "Yeah, so?" I'm like, "Well, no, honey, it's kind of like a big deal, you know, for a geek like me." And she's like, "Well, I hope you don't get your heart broke." I'm like, "What are you talking about?" She goes, "Well, I see it happen all the time. You get excited about some new software or something, and then it doesn't do what you expected it to do, or created it to do, or whatever it does." Sure enough, I come upstairs, launch the maiden voyage, and Mouse Without Borders didn't work. Did I tell her? Yeah, I actually did. I said, "You were right." I'll figure it out today, though. I just want to know if any of you guys got it. Oh, TL says yesterday was oh, I thought you were referring to that. Oh, Jones says that was Joni Mitchell's first public appearance after being sick. Okay. All right. I'll have to read up on that. I didn't know who Joni Mitchell was until I met my wife in San Diego. The wife I've been married to for 35 years or so. Dancing barefoot, hippie chick dancing barefoot in Balboa Park to fiddle music, of all things. And she introduced me to music I'd never heard, thoughts I'd never thunk. I mean, she was my introduction to life as an adult. I'd been in the Navy. I'd sailed all around the world. I thought I knew it all. And then along came my wife. Teal says, yesterday was a picture-perfect day of the half-hour range breakout, I believe, at least for the morning session, then reversed in the afternoon and sold off. Yeah, you know, as long as it moves far enough to give you an opportunity to reach your goal for the day, whatever that is. Now, even though our alert service provides alerts around the clock, we're still very much of the mindset that you have a daily goal, and when you reach the daily goal for that day, calendar day, that session, you know, go embrace life. Because if you lose touch with life, then every accomplishment here in the markets becomes a hollow victory. And hollow victories are not worth the effort. So that the balancing act, so that is really the whole purpose behind the Logic 247. Yes, in the early stages, it means Dwayne working 48 hours a day, sometimes 72. But as we progress and as I train, then it won't all be on my shoulders. And folks just like you and I, after I subscribe to the service, when you're on vacation, you're in Amsterdam, and your phone goes, dee-dee-dee, the telegram sound. You pull out your phone. Honey, you got your iPad? Can I borrow it? Thank you. Oh wait, is that your laptop? Oh yeah, please. We're in a coffee shop. Do you have to trade in a coffee shop? Well, honey, I have to trade when opportunity presents itself. So the alert came on the phone. Pop open the iPad or the laptop. Look at the chart. Connect with it visually. And then either close the lid and go, that's not the opportunity I'm looking for right now. Or, honey, you might want to, you know, go buy something pretty because I'm going to be here a little bit. Well, what does that mean? It means here's $100. I'll see you in an hour. How about that? Oh, that'll work. So in that hour, not punching a clock, you know, 9 to 4, 9 to 5, 8 to 5, however that works. I don't know. I never had a salary in my whole life. Did you have a salary? Good for you. I wish somebody had encouraged me as a young man I made my whole life has, well, I'm not complaining. Well, I am a little bit, because my teachers didn't, even though I graduated high school at 16, nobody encouraged me to go to college. Maybe because I was always belly aching about how much I hated school, because it did interfere with my life. I mean, I had a 40-hour-a-week job, and having to go there to learn nothing. After the 6th grade, public schools in Georgia at that time in history, you know, early 70s, early to mid 70s, or the mid 70s, school was kind of interesting. Learned something new every day. But at the 6th grade level, it was like it all ground to a halt. And I got bored pretty quick. Now, I'm sure there was plenty to be learned if I had applied myself. But as I said, I had a job and I was working, and it dawned on me the other day that my son, who's 16, I went to work at 14, but he's 16, and a lot of 16-year-old kids, you know, in high school, they have part-time jobs, not 40-hour-a-week jobs. And I tried to picture my son in a 40-hour-a-week job and holding down school, and I think we've let our kids get soft. That it might be a thing. We may need to address that. We may need some counseling or some support groups. I don't mean me and my son. I mean all of us parents. You know, we got to do lunch. All right. So we ran to 5 points. I said I was going to show you something interesting. I find it interesting, and it's not anything. It's not a new revelation. It just seemed like appropriate last night. Excuse me. Okay, it looks like we're going to come down and do number 2. That didn't sound so good. Is there a way to make this stay on top? Stay on top. See, the Windows 10, full of surprises. I didn't even know it had this. Power, data, pressure, angle. But not a stay on top button. What does that do? Oh, history. Huh. Alright. Current price $26.70. We're going to use that. 2670 times 50 equals $133,500. Now, what does that represent? $133,500. What does that represent? Yeah, if you were in the workshop last night, I know you know the answer, but to anyone who was not in the workshop last night, what does that number represent? I just went through the calculation. 2670 times 50. Any guesses? Scroll down. If you as a trader purchase one S&P 500 Emini contract, it's going to cost you $500. Really? No, not really. Okay. You've got to put up 500. If you're in our live training room, and again, this was the workshop last night, so I was addressing people who are, you know, part of the program here and are in the live training room on a daily basis. We use a 8-tick hard stop. Now, with our discretionary trading, we let the market dictate where our stop will be. And if it doesn't fall within our parameters, then we just walk and move on to the next one. But just let me address this. We use an 8-tick hard stop at $12.50 per tick. That's $50 a point. So 2 points is $100. 8 ticks is $100. So if you're using an 8-tick hard stop, if you had to put up $500 to buy or sell one S&P 500 E-mini contract, which has a value at the price we just used, $26.70. It's worth slightly less now. As it comes down, to do it again. Remember, important prices, important areas, almost always tested. And here we go. And don't forget, we had a trail to 60 and beyond. If the market, invites you, keep in mind the lowest weekly trading zone is 2682/83 on the S&P. Okay, so back to this. 133,500 of S&P 500 best of breed equity. Okay. If you go to your stockbroker, E-Trade, Scott Trade, anybody, or even a physical broker where you actually know and you go to their office and you sit and talk. I used to do that back in the late 90s, early 2000s. If you go in there with $500, hey, what can I get? I could probably front you half a share of Amazon. But you're going to owe me and I got to charge you interest. Wow. Okay. Quite a difference. Now you got to put up 500, but you're going to use an 8-tick hard stop, which is $100. $100 hard stop loss. Now, in a fast-moving market, can a stop get jumped? The discussion last night, I said that although it used to happen, not so much anymore, that it's just clocked as slippage. So I want to go down that rabbit trail. But in a fast-moving market, anything can happen. And when you open your account, you sign things to that effect. I know anything can happen, and I'm taking my life in my own hands, etc. All right. So, $500. I'm going to call it a deposit. Because really, that's kind of what you're doing. You're depositing. It's like you're going to get one of those carpet shampooers at the grocery store. The thing's worth $500, so you got to give them $50, and then when you bring it back, they refund the difference of whatever it actually cost. So you put up $500 to trade one S&P 500 E-mini contract, long or short. You use a $100 hard stop loss. Now, when the trade is finished, if it was profitable trade, equals a $600 return. Unprofitable. Unprofitable trade equals $400. If you're using a bracket order, as we do in the live training room each day, put up $500, trade one contract to the S&P, long or short. Use a $100 hard stop. If you hit your 8-tick target, then you have a $600 return. Remember, you put up 500, you profited 100, so you get your 100 that you earned, plus you get your original 500 credited back to your account. So you had a debit of 500 and then a credit of 500 plus the 100 you just earned, 600. Now let's say you get stopped out. Instead of hitting your target, it hits your hard stop. Okay, then your return is $400. If that doesn't make sense to anyone, stop me now and I can explain it to you. What's the swing low here? One tick over the line. We got the 26.6475. Well, that's great. Okay, so the market just handed us 2 5-pointers back to back, and again the alert says trail it to 60, to the lowest weekly trading zone. Basically, this is the lowest zone, 62 or 82.83, which is overhead. But the trail on the alert was to 26.60. So why is this important and why do I bring it up? Well, I just want you to think of, to reflect on. I had to lay the foundation. If you're only risking $100 to control $133,500, yes, you had to put up 500, but you fully intend to bring that carpet shampooer back in perfect working order, right? Okay, so you may have an unprofitable trade that goes in the expense column, $100, but you get your 400 back. So you're controlling this with $100. Let me say it again. You're controlling $133,000 of S&P 500 best of breed equity for $100. Yes, fast market, something might happen. You get some slippage. But if there's no slippage, and if you use a hard target and a hard stop loss, that's your risk. And here we come out the other side. Swing low so far, 61.75, and the target was 26.60 and beyond if invited. And I'll show you what if invited means here in just a second. Now, where'd my calculator go? Here we go. Okay. If we take there we go. I'm thinking that means error. It doesn't matter. Okay. So this was the one contract trader. A one contract trade. 10 contracts. It's going to stagger you, I think. There were people staggering all over the place last night. 10 contracts, you're going to have to put up not 500, but 5,000. Also, wow, I had this issue last night. Sometimes the calculator doesn't really want to move. I don't think it's a mouse issue. I'll just close it and start over. Calculator. Okay. And there we go. Back, it's frozen. Alright, shrink it up. There we go. See that? That's not right. Okay. Try that. Alright. So we know how we arrived at that figure. $133,500. Now, 500 for one contract. A person who has worked their way up and earned the right to trade 10 contracts. Not trading 10 just because you've got the money to trade 10, but because you've earned the right to trade 10. Bumping them up one at a time, building a firm foundation beneath you. To make that 10 contract trade, you'll have to put up a $5,000 deposit, which means using an 8-tick hard stop, the potential loss is no longer $100. The potential loss is now $1,000. $1,000 risk. Okay. Now, this was the value of what we bought, rented. Really, that's another way to think of it, as renting it. Okay, that was on 1. So we have to also, we multiplied this number times 10. We multiplied this number times 10. So now we have to multiply this number times 10. Okay. That is $1,335,000. Contract risk, $1,000. Controls $1.3 million of Bob. That's what we're going to call it. I've been looking for something. Pen contracts. Contracts 5,000. 10 contract risk 1,000. Okay, but that 5,000. Oh wait, no, that 1,000. Okay, this is the drama. For $1,000, you're controlling $1.3 million of S&P Bob. Let that sink in. Where on God's green earth, in all of history, has there been such a situation where a man or woman could arise from their slumber, stumble down the hall, collapse into their rich Corinthian leather high back chair, whip out your checkbook, write a $5,000 check, metaphorically speaking, and control $1.3 million of anything. I don't care if it's dirt. If you told me that for $5,000 I could control $1.3 million of dirt, I would take I don't need dirt. I have no room to put the dirt. I would find a truck, I would hire a truck and a driver, and then I would lease space to store my dirt, because I'm not the sharpest tool in the shed, but I know that if I can control 1.3, now somehow they arrived at that valuation. Now we're going to have to trust that that's an honest valuation on the dirt, but the man says he's had it appraised, and that's $1.3 million worth of dirt. And I can take control of it. Just 5. I'm suspicious. Oh, come on. You're trying to get me. There's a trick. You're fooling with me. Maybe he is, maybe he isn't. But the Chicago Mercantile Exchange, the CME, this doesn't matter who your broker is. You know that we're bound to the hip with Daniels Trading, have been for years. Why? Because Michael and I have both done business with a number of brokers over the years, both in equities and in futures, and there's never even been a close distant second to the efficiency, the level of service, and everything else that goes with Daniels Trading. And am I being paid to say this? No, I'm not. If you trade with them, do we take a cut of the commissions? No. Do we, is there some incentive for us to get you to trade with them? The only incentive that Michael and I have for you to use DT Pro, this platform I'm using, over any other platform that our indicators will run on, is because the broker, Bert, understands our methodology and our indicator set. And I don't know if you've ever been in a position where your method of trading and your broker's method of trading were identical. You could call him and ask him questions. Now, first time in my life, but maybe you've had a different experience. It used to be Bert and Leslie, the dynamic duo of Emini Futures. I really miss her. She was just a ray of sunshine every day. Now Bert, he's a ray of sunshine too, when he shaves. Kidding. He's a great guy. If you've never talked to Bert and Schlichter, and if you are looking for a broker or need a broker, or you're not sure, call 866-928-3310. 866-928-3310. And just, Bert, I'm blah blah, and the guy was talking about you on the internet, on the radio, and he said I should call you. I don't know why, he just said call you, so here I am. And you'll hang up the phone and you'll feel good about life. Yeah, we're being invaded, and yeah, people are mailing, people are dressing up like a Unabomber for Halloween. A lot of stuff going on. But when you hang up the phone with Bert, you're always just kind of, he has a way of putting you at ease, you know. So that's enough smoke up his chimney. But I'm serious, we do feel that way. That's who we do business with. So all these numbers up here, these are not specific to, you know, Daniels Trading or CFRN. See? These numbers apply. I don't care what method of trading you use. I'll let that sink in. So you're saying that with whatever methodology you use that's different from ours, and trust me, we know that our method is not the only method. It's just it's our best method. That's what it is for us. One S&P 500 E-mini contract, and this applies to the Dow, to the Russell, to the NASDAQ, except the numbers are different because the price per point, and we'll take a look at another one here as an example. Okay. Now I kept saying 5,000, didn't I? Boy, I was going to take control of that dirt. I was going to give the man $5,000 to control his dirt. He almost got me. Not only can I take control of his dirt for $5,000, if the price of dirt starts to drop, unless I sold the dirt short, and that would get way too complicated, all right? If the price of dirt starts to fall, I got a guy who'll buy that dirt off of me. It's going to cost me $1,000. It's like the guy who sold me the dirt, CME, hope you see the parallel, saying, you know what, we got a lot of dirt here. Give me $5 grand, and I'm going to let you control $1.3 million of our best dirt. Take it home, put it in your backyard, whatever you want. Do what you want. If the price of dirt starts to decline, I'll give you your $5 grand back minus my $1,000 surcharge. This is pre-commission, of course. You got to whip out $58 in commission over at Daniels, $5.80 per contract, round turn. So total commission expense to trade 10 contracts of the S&P 500 E-mini Futures, $58 commission for 10 contracts. So based on that, this number to control 1.3 million of dirt or S&P 500 best of breed equity, there's a $58 commission, $5.80. Last time I checked the statement, that's what it was. I guess if they'd raised the price, somebody let me know. It's per contract, round turn, and that's like a round trip airline ticket. When you see commercials on TV for Scottrade, E-Trade, they talk about you know, trade so much for $10. Okay, that's to get in, and then you got to pay another $10 to get out. They only sell one-way tickets. You can pay in advance and get a round trip ticket, but anyway, you get my point. Futures commissions are quoted differently, always have been. Why, I don't know, but that's how it is. One-way ticket with stocks, when you hear commission quotes in futures, round trip. So that's the getting in, and the getting out. $5.80. Now, are there discount brokers? Can you get it cheaper? Sure. You can. But do I really want to trust $1.3 million of dirt with a discount broker? That's the decision every trader has to make. I do know this. Some people get really rattled by the commissions, and if your margins are, rather than shoot the broker. Now, understand, the broker is not the only one standing there with his hand out. There's a whole line of people. The Chicago Mercantile Exchange wants to get paid. I mean, there's a whole. So by the time your $5.80 gets to the end of the line, the broker, the actual person you speak to on the phone. Oh, I forgot. Most brokers, you don't actually get to speak to the broker on the phone. You can't just call 866-928-3310. They don't have a bird. But Daniels does, which is good news for all of us. I don't know what he makes out of that 5.8, and I've never asked him, and I never would. That's his business, and that's personal. I just know how the system works, and if he got $1.50 out of that, I'd probably be surprised. But I hope he's getting. My point is this: if I have an opportunity to put money in the pocket of someone I've never even spoken to, or someone who I have spoken to and can speak to anytime I dial their phone number, who'll sit with me in a training room and help me understand the indicators and how to read the charts and all that stuff. And a Christian man with a family, a couple beautiful daughters. Okay, so I can put my money in a random stranger's pocket. He might buy beer. He might buy cigarettes with that money. Or this guy over here with the family and the whole thing. I'm going to go with the guy who will actually pick up the phone when I call. That's who I'm going with. This has not been a commercial for Daniels Trading. I'm just trying to deliver the whole package. Okay, this is all CME here. This really doesn't have anything to do with Daniels. No, the commission does. Each broker can determine what commission they're going to pay or charge. But all this other stuff, that's from the CME, the Chicago Mercantile Exchange, the big dog. So now, this is going to keep you up tonight and over the weekend. And it's really going to be frustrating because you're going to go, but he didn't tell me anything I didn't already know. I knew that. I knew those numbers. I just never strung them together in that particular order. How do you not get up out of your chair right now and go next door and tell your neighbor, whether you're in a residential setting or a business setting, hey, you're not going to believe what this guy just said on the radio. He said we can get a $1.3 million worth of dirt for $1,000. You in? Of course I'm in. What are we going to do with the dirt? Does it matter? No. Okay. Enough radio drama. Let's look at another market real quick. And then we'll decide if we're going to shuffle or stick around. I think we're going to shuffle. Let's go in Q. Calculator, arise. There we go. No, you didn't. Yeah, you did. You could drag it at an angle. That actually works. Oh. Alright. Clear. 68.85. 68.85 times $50 a point. No. 20. per point. $137,700. Oh, you can't copy and paste that. Okay. Well, fair enough. Let's go to the Dow. $24,775. 24,775 times $5 per point. $123,875 worth of blue chip stocks. The Dow. Now we were just looking at the tech heavy NASDAQ. Now we're looking at the Dow. 30 stocks. They call them blue chips. Go to your broker and say, hey, I got $1,000. How many shares of what company can I buy in the Dow? I'm sure there's some where you can get 4, 5, 6 shares. But tell your broker, okay, I got $1,000, but I want to control 123,000. I want to buy $123,000 worth of best of breed Dow equity, and golly, I only got $1,000 on me. But no, truth is, I got $5,000, but I can really only afford to spend $1,000. Well, what do you got? He's got a blank stare. He doesn't even know what you're talking about. When I first started talking about futures to my flesh and blood broker, who's also became a friend over the years, he just had a blank stare. He didn't. He's a broker. He didn't trade. Now, here's another big difference. See, my flesh and blood broker here in Phoenix, he didn't trade. He didn't like put on and take off orders. He was a broker. He shook your hand. He smiled. He offered you a candy from the little dish on his desk. Told a few war stories, and then got you to buy some stock in some company that they were supporting. That's how that worked. Bert's a trader. Yes, he has a broker's license, but at heart, that man's a trader. And he trades every day. It's just, he has 2 streams of income that I know of. Trading and what he earns as a broker. Just finding a broker that trades, whether he'll talk to you on the phone or not, is a challenge. They don't have to. They have a department. They have guys in a room. That's what my guy in Phoenix. They had guys in. He would pick up his phone, and he would call somewhere down the hall, and there were people back there that would put on and take off the orders. Investing and trading are 2 different things. I won't burden you with the details. I'm sure you're well aware of that. All right, let's back out big picture and see what we got. I'll be recapping everything on the Telegram, on the Google Plus. If you want to see it, you'll find it. I'll probably just do a recap video. But then people go, well, I gotta sit through the whole video. I just want to see this. So still shots would be probably best. I'll put something together for you, and we'll take a look at. We're not completely done. We still got to go to the good word for the day, and we've got I second that emotion. Second several. All right, and the emotion being that Bert's a good guy. He is. All right. So we fell away. Now, this is going to be one of those Friday afternoons, the race for the bell. Can it pull back up? Now that it has been kind enough to deliver us back to back, 1, 2, it did not. 3 times. Let's walk it through. Here's the first one. Pretty easy to see. Here's second one, this candle, where it went all the way down to 59.50. As you recall, it says and tip to 26.60 and beyond if invited. Oh, I was going to show you the if invited part. Okay. And so the swing low here was 26.59.50. That's 10 points. Okay. This candle closed here, opened here, got above the trigger. As it came back down, that's a trigger if you want it to be a trigger, right? You know, when you're a hammer, everything looks like a nail. Not every move in the market is a trigger. Right now, we got a swing low of 65.75. Now, our target. So we're what, 3 ticks? Let's say. Probably going to get there to the final target, but we hit final target once, twice, and if we don't hit final target here and end up with a trail on our hands, well, we got what the market offered, and that's all you can get. You can never get. It's hard to get all the market offers because you can't get out of the swing high or swing low unless you just luck into it by accident, because you don't know it's a swing high or swing low till after the fact. Right? So here it comes. Now, the indicator the question is, do we have an exit signal? Not even close. In fact, we have a bullish cross on our hands. This could go deep, real deep. Because think about it, okay? If this moves for real, and since we can't use the indicators just yet, just a humble trend line. Bring it on down. Okay. Now, until we get a bearish cross and can use our indicators to wait for an exit signal. See, like right there, that's an exit signal. Step line gets on the back side of the CFMA1 on a short trade. Green close above the step line. You have your exit signal to the tick. 26.67.50. The market said get out. We just get out. The market says get out. Sometimes we linger, okay, see if there's a little more. Sometimes there will be. Mileage will vary, as they say. But until your indicators support this, just use this, okay? If price gets on the other side of this line, take your profit, call it a day. Now, that move that we just saw, okay, that 5-point move, it actually dropped, what was the swing low? 59.50. So it dropped 10. But we know, and I take that back. When it reads like this, you have an exact target, okay? So while you can't get out of the exact swing high or swing low, you have a trade to target. Okay, so if this $100 that we were talking about, which is your potential gain or loss, that's based on 2 points per contract. Okay. So if we went the distance and we stayed with this until trail, if possible, to 2660. If we took our leave there, that takes this number. $1,300,000 $1,300,000 times 5 equals, no, I'm sorry, it's a miscalculation. Hang on, I'll straighten it out. Mark says, are these the same range bars that are in the morning session? No, Mark, these are not range bars. These are 30-minute candles. See, with the range bars, candles, whatever you refer to them, each one is exactly the same size. It's difficult. Here, let me just show you real quick, and then we'll finish this computation. But I think you're already ahead of me. Okay. That was based on a 2-point move, and the market just handed us a 10-point move. So you would take, whatever number you're working with, and you could go times 5. If you got in when the alert said consider selling here, and trail to here if the opportunity presents, if you did that, you got any of these numbers, times 5. 2 times 5 is 10. Yeah. Now down here we were already counting 10 contracts, right? Okay. Now there's another way. You could use one contract and get the 10 contract results, but what do you need? You need more points. There's two options. There's more points and there's more contracts. Well, more points means more work. More points means more time. More points means a lot of things. Some days the market doesn't offer more points. However, if you've earned the right to trade X number of contracts, then on your calendar, it will tell you what day you qualify to add one more. That's the 24/20 blueprint. It gives you the exact date. You know when, if things go as you expect them to, as you anticipate, which means there will be trades that are profitable and trades that are not profitable, but you know to the tick, to the day, when you'll add that next contract. The 24/20 blueprint is designed to take you from 1 to 20 contracts over a period of 24 months. You have to stop at 20? No, you don't. Do you have to grow to 20? No, you don't. Sometimes people will get comfortable trading 4 or 5 or 6 or 7. Boy, every time they try to go to 8, they get smacked on the head, so I'm staying with 7. Okay. Any way you want to do it, build your own business. Okay. Now, Let me pop over here real quick. And I'm going to change this into a range bar. Proper term, range bar. So now every one of these candles is exactly 4 ticks tall. I'll do it on the ES because there's 4 ticks to a point, and it makes things kind of jump out. Okay. So this candle, and this candle, and this candle, and this candle, all the same size. Each one of them is 4 ticks tall. Now it's kind of an optical illusion because some of them, you know, until you really kind of stare at it for, oh, no way, they're not all the same because of the wicks. But from the low of this candle to the high of this candle is exactly 4 ticks. Every one. That's what the 4 tick range means. So now that you've seen it this way, now we'll shift out to that 30-minute picture. There you got big candles. Now as you go into time-based, that's if you have skills as far as reading and understanding candlestick signals from the Japanese rice traders 400 years ago. If you've been down that road, these tell quite a story. It's a graphic representation of investor sentiment for the time frame being observed, which in this case is 30 minutes. Okay, if we pop out to an hour, if we pop out to 4 hours, go out to a day, we specifically created these indicators to not only be simple, color coded, easy to interpret. Bullish cross, you only have one job after a bullish cross on any time frame chart, and that is to get long. Bearish cross, get short. Toss in the slingshot. A little confirmation going on. Redden falling. Okay, it's bullish, it's bullish, it's bullish, it's bullish. Daily chart is bullish until this day, and this day it becomes a bearish daily chart because you had a bearish cross. Red and falling, get short. Blue and climbing, blue and climbing. Now these are measuring entirely different things. Okay, blue and climbing, let's get long. And if I drop it down to a oh, I don't know, $1,256 seconds. I didn't even do that in my head to figure out how much time that is. Pretty simple calculation, I think. Oh. What have I got here that's holding me up? There we go. Okay, so this is a 1,256 second chart. Bearish cross, price pulls away, price pulls back to physically touch, down close, sell the open of the next candle, minus 1 tick. So that's something to tell the folks around the dinner table tonight. Honey, I saw a 1,256 second chart. Now, if you divide that by 60, I don't know how much, what is that? We'll ask the internet or the calculator. You can probably tell I'm pretty excited about the fact that I now have a calculator. I don't have to chase around my desk looking for it. So 1256 divided by 60 equals 20 minutes. Okay, that's 20 minutes. Right? Correct me if I'm wrong. 60 seconds in an hour? I mean in a minute? 60 minutes in an hour? Okay, you just got lucky, pal. That's possible. So let's go 891,256 seconds. Yeah, I think we choked it up on that one. Oh, because we went over a day. That's the only reason. Alright, so we go back to the custom. And we take a digit off. Or no, we make this, we'll add a 9. I see I added 2 digits, so just add 9. Okay. Now what do we got? No, same issue. Alright. Oh, no, there it is. Okay. Alright, so it reverted back to daily. Alright, one more time, then we're done with this. Alright, so we're going to go with 6,400. Seconds. 6,400. Why am I doing 6,400 seconds? Just to show that when there's a bearish cross, you want to get short. It's red and falling, red and falling, red and falling, red and falling. Color coded for your convenience. Is it really that simple? Well, I'll tell you what, trading's not easy. Never has been, never will be. But it can be simple. And hopefully this has helped you see that, right? Your bearish cross up here, price finally pulls back to touch. Now, this would have been disqualified because the step line touched the BBC before we got a down close. But that's okay. So this one got called for rain. We'll take this one. Price pulled back to physically touch. Get a down close here. Sell the open to the next candle. -1 tick as long as you're red and falling. Red and falling. Well, what about blue and climbing? Don't we want to be long here? No. Why? Because the last cross was a bearish cross. Until there's a bullish cross, I have no interest in being long. Period. Based on the time frame I'm observing. Now, if I'm executing in the manner that we execute in the live training room on a 4-tick range chart, I'm going to go get my data on this larger time frame, typically 30-minute, and then use the 4-tick range to execute the trade so that I'm not stuck with, you know, undue risk. Now, sometimes you can take advantage of this situation just straight off the 30-minute. Often it will require, you know, too much risk. But once this swing high is put in and this candle closes and this one opens, well, what's the high here? Swing high was 2671.50. That's below the lowest weekly trading zone. Yeah, okay. So if I'm in here, my risk is minimal. But if I need this down close to give me the confirmation, the confidence to go ahead and get short, now my risk is from here, 67, up to about here, 67 to 79. That's 13 points. Most we risk on a discretionary trade is $300 per contract, which on the S&P would be 6 points at $50 per point. So thank you very much for that question, Mark. If there are any other questions, let me know, because we're going to head into the good word for the day. And I can walk through the traditional, hey, the entry was here. Then I got to turn right around and do it again. Just put it on Telegram. I suppose I could just put this on Telegram. But I need a very, I know what I need. I need a virtual assistant. Don't get me started. So we're back to our 30-minute. And our exit signal was, our entry on that last alert was 2670. We're talking about bearish cross. We need a bearish cross to support this, to be able to use the indicators on the way down. Remember how we drew that trend line? Just like that. As this comes around, if we take out this low, we will have a bearish cross, which will then lead us into a pullback, which will then most likely give us another leg to the downside below any lows that we've put in this week. Late in the session, we've only got stocks trade for another hour, futures another 2 hours. Volume's coming in heavy. Look at that number in the bottom right hand corner. Look at it spin. That's the number of contracts traded in the last 3 minutes. Oh guys, this may get real ugly real quick. Look at this. We're 3 minutes into the candle. 3. All right. Let's do an alert number 703. 703 alerts since the beta. Consider selling ESZ8 if not already short. Maybe you took profits, maybe you had to walk the dog. I don't know. Consider selling ESZ8 if not already short. And we're going to go 26. We'll go 2635. $26.35 $26.33 to $26.30. Okay. Instead of selling the ESZ8 if not already short, 26.35 to 26.33 to 26.30 and trail if possible. Is volume number still cranking? Now buyers just swarmed in. Let's take a look at the DOM. Okay. All right. If you don't have auto, oh, look at that. You're never going to see that. Oh, where's my screen grabber? You are never going to see that. I don't think. Not in this lifetime. Well, That's probably a pretty bold statement. What happened to my thing? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Come on. This is unbelievable. I'm glad I snapped the picture. I don't normally have this running over here. My eye, when I glanced up, it caught this is the bid and this is the ask. If you ever see that many on the ask at once, probably, you know, fly in the face of conventional wisdom and just go short. That would have been a doomsday scenario. Typically they're going to be balanced. They only show 10 levels deep. That's funny. Well, I'm glad I have a picture of my faux pas so that I can celebrate it with a few of my closest friends. Okay. All right. Look at those numbers. Look at them. Okay, so buyers obviously liking this number. Pin that on top. There we go. So now I can click here and it doesn't disappear. 2641. Now everybody's going 2641. What's the deal? This is total volume for the day, for the session, which began at 6 p.m. Eastern last night. And in 7 minutes, the last 7 minutes, the market has traded 65,000 S&P 500 Emini contracts. Each one of those 65,000 having a value of how much? That's right, $133,000 each. This little bullish cross here, what's that called? That's a head fake. There was no pull away, there was no pull back. Head fake. Bulls may be getting a toe hold here. That's okay. Our alert is down at 35. So if it wants to rally up, go right ahead. Or will we participate in that? Will I put out under these circumstances, I mean, we got a bullish cross, right? Am I going to put on a long trade? Am I going to, it's called fading the trade. Am I going to fade it back up to the BBC where I expect it to collapse again? Well, you can, but get the trading with the trend nailed first before you start counter trend trading. I'm not recommending that you counter trend trade. I'm just saying. I prefer to have the wind at my back. You don't tug on Superman's cape. You don't spit in the wind. Going long here, that's kind of like spitting in the wind. You're just asking for trouble. I'd just rather just be patient. If it doesn't fall, if my idea is not validated by the market, I can live with that. But getting trapped in this epic struggle up here between buyers and sellers, I don't want any part of that. And I'm sure you don't either. Okay. All right. Well, we covered some ground today. I'm all about that. Let's go to our good word for the day. What do you say? What do you say? There'll be videos over the weekend. There'll be still shots. If packages show up at your home over the weekend, do not sign for them. You know, it's too soon to make that kind of a joke. This is a horrible, horrible time for our country. When the 9/11 tragedy struck, I talked about this last night in the workshop, I believe, possibly on the show yesterday. When the towers fell, it was us against them. Whoever they are, it was us, America. It was, you know, that was our soil had been invaded, and we were protecting our homeland. United, Republican, Democrat. You know what? When those first responders went running into those towers, I highly doubt that anybody was inquiring about someone's political affiliations or whether they were a left-wing nut or a right-wing nut. They had a job to do, and that was to save lives. They were united in their desire. They were not divided by their differences. And we as a nation, man, do we need another 9/11 to make us come together again? God, I pray that we don't. I pray that we don't. Father, we just thank you for your blessings, and we pray for mercy and grace on America. We've done you proud at times, and we've caused you shame at others, I know, but that's because we're people. You made us. I'm not blaming you. I'm just saying we need your help. We need your help. And we ask it in Jesus' name. Amen. That's what we need, guys. Hang on one second. I'll be right back. We'll wrap it up with a good word for the day. If you have a question, go ahead and put it in the chat box. I'll be right back. TL ask a bold question. Who's the bigger terrorist? The guy that was arrested today, or the quote-unquote progressives who are actually doing everything to undermine our Constitution and destroy our way of life? Well, that's a big question. Yeah, that's my whole point, I guess. Good word for the day. We need it. Where's the market? Okay. Yeah, this final. Yeah, there's still time to get some more alerts out. So let's wrap it. TL also says, I heard Jeff Sessions thanking all the various law enforcement agencies. I can't help but think we now actually live in a police state. Well, as far as a police state, any state, I was in a state of surprise, I suppose, yesterday when I saw the commercial for Clear. I have no idea what kind of money they want for that. If it's a publicly traded company, is it? Possibly. Clear me. Why wait at the airport? Here it is, right here. Okay, let's find out. Speed through security in the blink of an eye. Upgrade your travel experience today. Sign up online. Start by filling out the form below. Finish in person. Register your eyes and fingertips at any Clear location. Start using Clear immediately after registering. Clear is moving across the nation in over 35 of the busiest airports and stadiums nationwide. I wanted to know where they were going to deploy this other than airports. Stadiums, that's good. I think you'll start to see it in hospitals, public schools, private schools. Clear is the fastest, smartest, and friendliest way through security. So, is that Sky Harbor? It is. Sky Harbor. Phoenix Airport. Okay, so back to what does it cost? You're the perfect person to verify your identity. Instead of using traditional ID documents, Clear uses biometrics, your eyes and fingertips, to confirm it's really you. Okay, so you need a photo ID. They're going to run your numbers, all that. Oh, so you can't. You bet they're hiring. Are they publicly traded? Because this would be a hot stock to own right now. No, don't even go there with that conspiracy. Oh, suspicious packages getting mailed about. People are freaking out. I don't think these people... Do these look like people that would do something like... I don't think so. He's a manager, whatever that means. I just want to know what it costs at this point. Not that I travel a lot anymore, I just don't have time. How do I join Clear? Why join Clear? Membership. Former Clear members. Oh, the old Clear. Former members canceled memberships? Oh. Yeah, that's something to think about. Once you hand this over, I'm almost surprised, and this will come in time. My guess, they'll swab your cheek. They'll swab your cheek. Okay. Cost of Clear Me, because I don't want to fill out the paperwork right now. Here we go. Normal rate for Clear membership is $179 per year, which for a person who travels a lot or goes to stadiums a lot, and I'm thinking soon libraries and hospitals and every kind of gathering place, children under 18 receive free access with members. That's good. TPG readers can use the promo code, the points guy. Who's the points guy? Oh, he's talking about airline points, not S&P 500 E-mini points. Okay, fair enough. So using this promo code, oh wait, this isn't new. I saw it. This has been out since 2015. 3.5 years later, I see the commercial. I don't know, maybe it's starting to catch on, so now they can afford commercials. Phoenix Airport. Now see, Phoenix Airport just added it in July. Now that's a Sky Harbor is the 25th airport in the country to offer Clear. $179 a year. Okay, they also have, there's a product TSA PreCheck, Global Entry, and Clear. Well, let's see what Global Entry is all about. Alright, I think we know how it works, kinda. So let's just cut to the cost. $100 one-time fee. Now the other one was an annual. This is a $100 one-time fee is required with your application. Oh, okay. It must be paid at time of application. You can pay by credit card. Okay, is there a one-time fee? Oh, that's your non-refundable application fee. That's not the cost for the program. Where's cost? Pleasure boats and private flyers. Oh, we're on the... This is an actual U.S. Customs and Border. Boy, I really don't travel much anymore. I was once the jet setter. Not so much anymore. No processing lines, no paperwork. Access to expedited entry benefits in other countries. Available at major U.S. airports. Well, what do you know? The Clear, though, I think that, you know, this is a government thing, but the Clear is Clear Me, publicly traded. Nope, there's no stock symbol in here anywhere. It's a private company. Yeah. It all sounds good, right? Until you put your finger up there and you hear about 20 locking loads behind your back. Okay, where did they lose me there with the unlocking the bicycle? Thanks, Vimeo. Okay, they're just trying to make a point. Okay, I think we got it. We already been there. Partners. Imagine every place your customers show their ID, gain entry, or transact. Now imagine it with clear. I'm going to scan your iris so you can get into the live training room every day. Pay and prove age with a tap. Without swiping a card or showing ID, we're powering payment and age verification at concession stands in Seattle. Okay. In partnership with Major League Baseball, fans can enter Citi Field with just a touch. No phone or stub needed. Oh, you prepay for your ticket, and because you're part of this, when you get there, you just plop your finger up on the screen, tap it, as they say. Oh, just a touch. Just a touch. Honey, do you have the tickets? No, but I got my finger. Don't leave home without it, right? Maybe. Sure, I like to make money. Oh no, I'm not going to do that. I'll let you know what I find. Okay, so that last one, no trigger. No. Yes, no. Nope. Nope, it's going to try to rally into the close. You know, TL, I feel you. I feel you. I'm going to share this with the audience so they can feel you too. From the audience, Satan is all about control. Christ values freedom so much that he actually allows us to choose to do wrong. That's an interesting perspective. A true perspective, I assume, from my point of view. So, all of these new technologies come to market. Who do you think is behind it? The prince of this world, right? We're sold all of this stuff as something good for society, but it always ends up tightening the noose around our freedoms. How actually insane to give up even one small freedom for the sake of convenience. Well, I mean, yeah, I mean, look at how much information we willingly give up to be on Facebook and to do all the things that we want to do. Now, if someone were demanding that from you, oh no, no. It's about my freedom. But what you're saying about the convenience, you know, it's like, okay, how much is my privacy worth? Well, I don't know. I mean, if you're a law-abiding citizen and you do the things you're supposed to do and don't do the things you're not supposed to do, at a transitionary period in my life, which I've talked about, at 37, my life and my wife's life, we return to the God of Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, and my grandmother. My wife grew up in church, I grew up in church, and then we checked out for a decade or two. Actually, we still occasionally went to church, but we checked out for a decade or two. And so I was 37 when we made the return flight. Well, let me hold on to that. Let me hold that just for... Yeah. Tightening the noose around our freedoms. All right, I'll go ahead. At this transitionary period in my life, I knew how important it was for me to be real with the deal, as they say. I got a glass desk. You think I'm kidding? I'm not. Glass. Glass pedestal, glass top. Quite nice. The point is, it had no drawers. No place to hide stuff. Any kind of stuff. It was, I refer to it as the no secrets desk. You better wear socks, I mean, if the outfit requires it, because whatever you got, it's on display. Because when people come in to meet with you or for counseling or whatever it is, you sit behind a glass desk. No secrets, no drawers to hide things in. And man, you know what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about stacks of Playboy or anything like that. I'm just talking about how we as men sometimes in a relationship will isolate ourselves from our spouse and do things under the cover of shady. Yeah. So that was my statement to myself, to the world kind of, but more to myself. Man, that life is too exhausting. God, it just wears you out. Stop smoking weed, and when somebody asks you for a ride somewhere, you can say yes. Jump in. Instead of freaking out and spraying the osium everywhere. Shh. But that's all changed now because it's legal. In most places. Some places. Medically or recreationally. One of the two. Alright, I've been around the bush long enough. Gotta go, gotta go. Good word for the day. On deck. Teal says, I'm a preacher's kid, PK. Spent about 27 years of my adult life in the fast lane and the whole lifestyle. Oh yeah, brother. And the whole lifestyle that goes along with it. From about 19 to 46, when I finally surrendered my heart to God. Lock, stock, and barrel in 2001. Yeah, that bell's for you and eternity. For me, it was 37. Similar story, except, well, my grandmother, she was more like the Pope to me than a preacher. She was just so connected to God at the hip. But, yeah, so, I mean, it was like growing up in a preacher's house because just everything, you know, God this, God that. I mean, as a kid, you know, I want that same environment. I wish, my grandmother's in her 90s now. I wish she lived, I wish my children could have the benefit of spending time. My children are adopted, you guys know that, but oh, I wish they, because I know that there's no way, well, I have not done a fraction of the job my grandmother did with me. Right? Okay, so I've admitted that problem. Now what can I do to change it? I can't be her, you know. I can repeat all the things she said to me and taught me, but I can't be her. I just wish my kids could experience Granny Reeves for 1 week. It would literally change their lives. Not because she'd be all up in their face and in their grill telling them to do this. No. That was not her style. Scripture says, and they will know you by your love. That was her. Never a bad word to say about anybody. Son, if you can't think of something good to say about somebody, just keep your mouth shut. She lived by that. She didn't just say it, spout it. She lived it. An ultra-conservative family, TL? You lived in an ultra-conservative family? My grandfather was the sheriff of the small town in Georgia. I was like Opie, except I became more like Dopey. Until the prince kissed Cinderella and we all got a second chance. All right. Good word for the day. I'm done threatening. This is it. And then we're walking out of here. This would be day number 4 of what's good for the goose. Our scripture for the whole week has been Matthew 6:26. Look at the birds in the sky. With geese, their relationship is till death do us part. They take it seriously. They're fully committed. When the ravages of time or circumstances make it impossible for a bird to continue the trip, and it begins to lose altitude or fails to keep up with the skein, the gaggle provides it with comfort, nurture, and protection. Now check this out. 2 strong geese leave the formation. Flying with the patient safely between them, they find a sheltered location with food and water and make a home for the needy bird. They stay with that bird until it either recovers or passes. And then they join another formation. Wait a minute. You can't just stick your beak in somebody else's formation, can you? For them, everything goes on hold to care for the other bird. The flock that they grew up with, spent their life with, they're the only birds they've ever known. But they leave them to take care of the one who can't take care of himself. And then they're able to just join another flock. What an example of Christ-like relationship and self-sacrificing love. 1 Corinthians 12:24 through 26 says, God has combined the members of the body, that its parts should have equal concern for each other. If one part suffers, every part suffers with it. In today's culture, we discount and marginalize the needy. Now, that includes those who are no longer functioning as well as they once did. But God demands that we have equal concern for each other, especially with those who are suffering. If a gaggle of birds can do it, surely God's family ought to do it too. Look at the birds in the sky, Jesus directs. If they can do it for each other, Jesus said, aren't you worth more than 2 birds? One of the 2 greatest commandments, not suggestions, no, these are commandments that Christ gave us, is to love your neighbor as yourself. Mark 12:31. When word circulates that we love each other in this way, if they actually believed that, the world would beat down the doors of our churches to get inside. Now, if you believe that, then why come Why aren't they? Why aren't they beating down the doors? Because we don't have it together the way the birds of the air do. Think about it. If we behaved like these geese, people would look at us and go, whoa, man, I want what you got. I mean, that's just human nature. We always want what somebody else has got. But I'm going to tell you, there's been a lot of Christian people that I've met in my life. Now, I use the term Christian because that's how they identify. Trans-spiritual, I don't know. But what do they say? Oh, those church people. Gossipers, backbiters. You know, they got all these labels for the people in the church. Sadly, so much of it's true, but it's not just true about us, it's true about everyone, right? But because we hold ourselves out to be a peculiar people, set apart, the world judges us differently. Sadly, too often we fail that test. Our words say one thing, but our actions speak volumes about something completely different. Holy roller on Sunday and on Monday. I mean, wow. Can't we just get along? Love one another. Love God, love one another. That's what Jesus, after, when all was said and done, post-cross, he's heading back, catching the next flight out. He distills it all. Old Testament, New Testament, everything. He distills it into a few words. Fellas, I'll be back to get you. In the meantime, love God, love one another. You'll be fine. Yeah, it says about all the laws of all the prophets and everything, blah, yeah. Man of few words, but important words, red letter words. I'll be back. I gotta go so I can send the counselor, the teacher, the Holy Spirit. I gotta go and make that transaction. But I'm coming back. Till I get back, if you can just love God and love one another, you'll be okay. Man, remember when he said, take my yoke, burden is easy, burden is light? Sign me up. I want what he's got. That Jesus, I want what he's got. Good news is he says I can have it. Do I deserve it? No. Can I afford it? No. Do I want it? I do. I do. I want it. I want it for me and I want it for you. I want it for everyone I come in contact with. But I can't be up in their face preaching, beating them over the head with the Bible. That's not how Jesus did it. He loved them. He forgave them. Can you imagine these spikes being driven through the palm of your hand or your wrist, depends on which historian you believe, or archaeologist or whatever. He didn't scream, he didn't curse, he didn't spit in their face. He said, Daddy, forgive them. They don't know what they're doing. And he did. He forgave us, you and I. Now, it's like having a package at the post office. Somebody sends you $1 million, but you're no richer until you go pick up the package. It's Probably some login sending currency through the mail, so let's not even talk about the mail. I gotta go. Dow's down 318 points. Wait, yeah. And Tesla's up $13. Yep. True story. Alright, did we ever get an exit signal over here? Yep. How low did we go? Sunday night, be watching for the cross, bearish. Yeah, that was our good word for the day, obviously. I'm reading what you wrote. You said I don't need to read it online. I kind of wanted to, but that's all right. I am familiar with him, yes. Interesting. Okay. All right, guys, if you need me, you know where to find me. Support at CFRN.net. 949-42-EMINI. 949-42-EMINI. I may have a pop-up Q&A session over the weekend. And last week, a few blessed people became passport holders because I had a pop-up sale. I might have a pop-up sale this weekend for those who have an interest in becoming a passport holder. If you would like to be invited, in fact, let's make it a thing. I'm going to make it a thing. Here's the thing. I am going to make available over the course of the weekend 10 steeply discounted passport memberships. 10. That's it. At the pop-up sale, I will give a link to each person that attends. It'll be pop-up Q&A / sale. I'll answer any questions, we'll look at a few charts, and then I will make 10 steeply discounted passports available. Now, when I say steeply discounted, well, I guess you'd have to come and see, all right? But there'll only be 10, and I'm serious about that. In fact, the little sign-up page that I'm going to create is going to have a counter. So you'll know when there's 8 left, 7 left, 6, if I can make it work. I've got it, I just got to figure out how to make it work. I'm not joking. I know I fool around a lot, got to keep it light, because these markets can wear you down if you don't. It's important. It's a thing. I'm going to put it on the internet because you won't, because you want one of those 10, and before it gets out, what if 100 people show up and there's only 10 available? Will I just steeply discount 90 more? No. When I say 10, it's 10. I'm not saying I'll never have another sale. I'm just saying this weekend there'll be 10 steeply discounted passports available at the pop-up sale, and I'll make sure that everyone has an opportunity to check their email or their telegram and know at what time and at what internet address the pop-up passport sale will take place. Okay? Could we turn it into an internet treasure hunt? Well, that's just too much work. It would be fun if I were, you know, that's a young man's game. Hey, look at that. Up on the big screen, see it? We just punctured that. it just pierced that trend line. We're just moments ago, I was saying we still have not, and now we have, right? Waiting on that bearish cross. Now, does this mean I no longer expect the bearish cross Sunday night? So it depends upon how we close. See, if this fails here, I mean, the bulls, the buyers, whatever you want to call them, they have given, they've put on a fine effort. If this doesn't do it, and I gotta believe, and so that last alert that went out, if it does not trigger today, keep it on a post-it note until Sunday night. Let's see what happens there. Now, this is a very impressive late in the day rally. Let me get some alerts up. Now, let me guess. You're going out of town. You won't have a phone or a computer with you. It's an official go to the mountains and disconnect weekend. You already paid for the tickets. Okay. Do this. Send an email to passport@cfrn.net. Passport@cfrn.net. Tell me the deal. Hey, it's me, and I really want to, want to come to the thing online, the pop-up and the Q&A and the sale. Yeah, I really like one of those steeply discounted passports, but I got to go. Yeah, okay. We'll make some kind of accommodation. We'll pretend that you're one of the young birds, old birds, or sick birds. And we'll figure out some way to accommodate you. Alright? I'm serious. Passport. One word. Oh, how do I... Oh, now it's coming together. The all clear, or the clear me. Oh, okay. Not the sharpest tool in the shed, or the fastest. But I did get it. I finally connected the dots. That's why that entrenched me so much, the all clear. There's an obvious tie into the passport somewhere. I just haven't seen it yet. But if you see it, send me an email, passport@cfrn.net. It's been a great week, guys. Thanks so much for tuning in. Of course, it is the weekend, so CFRN law dictates that you must spend quality time with your family. Yes, I'll see you in church on Sunday. Thanks so much for tuning in. Whoever you are, wherever you are, may God continue to richly bless you with His mercy and with His grace. And I'll see you at the bell.
Remember this, there is no greater return on investment than to see a human life changed and given hope. As always, pray hard and trade safe. Any financial information discussed on this show is simply the opinion of our host, Dwayne Reeves, his co-hosts, and guests. To learn more about trading Emini Futures or to take a 1-week free trial in our live trading room, call 1-866-928-3310. 866-928-3310. Information discussed on this radio program should not be construed as a recommendation to buy or sell any security. Always do your own due diligence and consult with a licensed securities broker or financial planner before making any investment decision.